covering and the in-depth analysis about Sanna Manjang. I will just brush over. I will touch on that. The next one will be about Embalo departure from Dakar to Brazzaville. These are very important topics. We can see a lot in it. But finally, the main topic would be the blowing up of Russian vessels or under the flagship of the Gambia, petroleum tankers around the Black Sea, around Turkey. These are the 3 points we're going to discuss today. Okay, the reason I am not, I've been having from yesterday, I've been having a lot of inboxes since the news broke that Sanna Manjang was arrested, and there were other unidentified people arrested with him, whom we believe they are not Gambians, because since the circulation of their pictures, we haven't had any other person been identified apart from Sanna Manjang. We haven't got information about who they are yet. The investigations are still ongoing. According to the press release from the Gambian Armed Forces or the side of the government, there is a sort of a caveat to say that give us chance to look into this. And being a person that respects national security, national security, and knowing that there might be interest groups, there might be, I know there are a lot of people from security background, or people that do like to know a little bit from what I know based on my security background do follow. And I don't want to go into analysis and inadvertently say something or analyze something that might benefit others that are not supposed to benefit from it, or that might undermine anything that the states want to do, what is happening. But saying that, it doesn't mean that we are going to leave this state to operate without any oversight from our end. We are giving them chance, we're giving that space, and expect for them to come out clearly and tell us where we are with this situation. They have announced that there was a coup, which we haven't seen any evidence of that. They have not reported on any evidence of that or pointed to any evidence of that, and we haven't seen any nature of that being the case. But they might know something we don't know, and we are waiting for them to come out with that. And in weeks' time or months, depends on what evolved from this incident, we can come out and give our analysis or say what we might know about it. But it's interesting to note that Sanna Manjang, he is who we all get to know who he is based on the testimony from his colleagues. And these are testimony that we haven't doubt at all. But again, Sanna Manjang, it's not the only threat we have out there. He's an individual end of the day. He's a threat because he have a low IQ, and he have gone through processes of doing very brutal stuff, and he's capable of doing it, and he have been doing it. He's a threat in that sense. But I don't think he's a threat in the organization sense of it. That's why we are appealing to this government not to be reactionary. We know that they have capable people in place, be in the intelligence, be in the armed forces, be in the police, be in any form of security this thing they have. We expect them to do the right thing. If you want to kill a snake, you have to cut off the head. You don't go down the tail. Yes, Sanna, how dangerous as he is, Sanna is the tail. Sanna is not the person who thinks. Sanna is not the person who strategizes. Sanna is not the person who will be mobilizing. Sanna will not be the person who will be resourceful to do things. then what we are asking from this government is to do the right thing. And if this government was proactive or had the political will, we would not have been talking about Sanna in this scenario here. All this buhaha nonsense would not have come out from Jammeh itself and continue. If tomorrow Jammeh release another tape, people take it seriously again, or people, if not even seriously, will be bound to discuss it. And we have to remember, we have victims, entire Gambia are victims. But we have direct victims who are continuing to be traumatized about Jammeh coming or not, or the lack of justice, or the lack of reparation. Yeah, the reparation is part of that justice. What we are asking is, if this government had indicted Jammeh, charged him in absentia, that will be going that far. And if this one if Jammeh was charged in absentia and red alert notice given to all international law enforcement agencies, they would have done a lot. If a red alert notice was sent out for every person needed, all these junglers, they would have been controlled by now. I'm using the word control, but it means to the end of wherever we want it to be. If we want them to be arrested and to be dealt with in the countries that have universal jurisdiction, to try them, it can happen. If we think that we need them to bring them to try them, we can do that. We are holding Barrow accountable and his government for this failure and the continue of the insecurity and the traumatization of our victims. They can do it. The amount of junglers out there, people we term junglers, in the sense of the testimony from the TRRC, because we have lots of junglers who are civilians, who are in our parliament right now, running our parliament, the speaker and the deputy speaker. We have them in the ministries. We have them almost everywhere. All these people should have been dealt with in the right way and manner, but we are using them. They are in these positions and it is sanitizing Jammeh. This is why people still have the audacity or the confusion to try to treat Jammeh in any other way than the way he deserves to be taken through the justice system. If it is 17 junglers listed or not, I can tell you the government, if they want to know, they would know where they are. If they want to share a red alert notice to countries that are hosting these people or where these people are hiding, they could have been dealt with by now. We make it very difficult for them to move about, very difficult for them to do a lot of stuff. But again, we already have confirmed junglers who have admitted, admitted, and they are still walking our streets freely. We have Saul Bagi, who, apart from Jammeh, he was the one giving the orders that came from Jammeh to be executed. He's still walking freely in the Gambia. Then this government cannot come out in a celebratory mood because of they captured the one with the least IQ, Sanna, who cannot operate anything without someone else asking to do it or helping him to do it. And only thing he's good at is to be inhuman towards another human. What we're asking for is for those people that the Human Rights Commission have actually reminded this government a few months ago that there are advisory mentioned and there are recommendations for them to be taken out of within our institutions. And for some of the soldiers who have been advisory mentioned and on suspension and still getting their salaries or benefits, that is insult to our victims that still did not have a copper from this Gambia government reparation. Yes, I said a couple. The 50 million given to the victims' reparation is from Senegal. It's not from the proceeds. Jammeh's proceeds. And I'll let Gambians know there are other people who might, let me emphasize, might pose a risk. And this, I don't know the numbers. There are intents, probably in hundreds or 100, that have left the Gambian National Armed Forces due to their sympathy or passive loyalty to Jammeh. Some are still walking our streets. Nobody monitors them. Nobody probably, I'm saying, as far as I know, nobody monitors them or see them as a risk. But I think they might pose a risk. Again, it's for a government to evaluate. It's for a government to put the mechanism that might mitigate and to deal with any perceived risk to the state or the people. Some of those people have left the sovereignty of this nation, and they are in environments or areas that would further pose as evidence that they might pose a risk for their choice of going into that environment or the area. This is what they are. These are all issues that we expect this government to deal with. If you bear me a minute. Hello? Okay. Okay. These are all issues that this government have to deal with. We are not in a celebratory mood, and we don't want to politicize this. Even though they are trying to even though they are, even though they are trying to politicize this, we are not going to politicize this issue. It should be a national concern. I have seen people saying, "Oh, now." People advocating. Yes, there are certain people advocating about the presence of Akimik, probably because of their ignorance. Some are doing it because of probably for what they want a separate outcome from what we have now. But there are others doing it on concern, saying that to point to the failures of this government, because we have to believe that this could have been achieved, where Gambia would not need external forces to be in the midst of our sovereignty. What we are asking for, and what those people which I am part of, is good governance. Today, if you ask me my opinion, should ECOMOG pack up and go, I would say no. If I was part of a government that would even take over, I would still ask for an extension, but based on a timeline, realistically, that the need assessment would be done, and these measures to be taken would be taken, and the risk that my post would be out of it. And these are the things that this government failed to do. In fact, they are continuing to take our armed forces to be more toxic, or to be pushed more of insecurity in our midst due to their corruption. Now we have seen the evidence of our armed forces taking full-fledged, the part of the Navy taking full-fledged in drug trafficking, and nothing came out of it. They've been dismissed because of what? The senior people that were involved don't want to be implicated. The junior officers and men they use have to be let free, because if they take them to court martial, those people would reveal what have actually transpired. We have seen the tribalization and politicization of the security institutions, which we have just published today. The promotions and the 2,000 police officers recruited based on politicization, where a National Assembly member of Foni, former North Alliance, Aminata Koli, I believe, have said and congratulated and thanked the IGP for selecting the people that he have put forward on the list. When we said it, people doubted it, but the evidence have come from a National Assembly member thanking, in a political party rally, thanking the IGP. But we have the information. Right now, they are in a process, and we're going to talk about it next week, promoting the sister of Modus Habali twice with him to a rank and responsibility that she have no capacity to do. Trying to promote the wife of Lamin K. Sedi to a rank and responsibility he have no capacity of doing. And we know so many others. These are the things we are asking this government to fix. To fix. Not to celebrate the arrest of a lunatic. We welcome the arrest of that lunatic, but let us not politicize this. And people that call for economic to leave might have done that part of ignorance. They don't know these things, part of national sentiments and orders. But when we point to economic presence, for myself and others, is to as an evidence of the failure of security sector reforms, which would have been completed for a sovereign nation that did not go to war, to have the presence of foreign forces. That's a correction to your sovereignty and your independence. We'll get into that. The other point we raise in here is, what would happen to Sanna? I have discussion with people, and to no surprise, legal people and others, and they said, if Sanna is repatriated to Gambia, he will walk the streets. In my heart, I don't want to accept that. But in my head, I have to accept it. Because we have to believe in precedents. How many? How many? Saul Badges and others that went even. Sidney Njai that even went with Germany now is now Deputy Speaker. Now, if they tell you that Sanna, Oya and others are walking the streets, we don't want that. What is the fact? That is what is happening. That he might not be tried. Imagine the trauma. The trauma continues. I cannot imagine it for direct victims. For my auntie that lost a son that they believed with the pointed evidence that he was adopted by State House soldiers, and he was sacrificed as a lamb for their idol worshipping, Jammeh's idol worshipping. There are so many that did not come to the TRRT. For the men that have been raped, been sodomized by instructions of Jammeh and recorded. And most of them are staying in our marriages, but their marriages are no more functional. For the women that have been raped, violently raped, and recorded. For those lives. For the families, fathers missing and others. People I spoke to, and many Gambians who subscribe to that, if Sanna comes into the Gambia, even nothing will happen to him. But we still want him to come back, and we have to hold this government accountable. Because if Sanna should be tried in the Gambia, then all the junglers will be tried in the Gambia. I am not here in defense of Sanna. I am here in the defense of justice. Sanna might be so brutal, but he's not more evil than the other conspirators. We want trials. We want these people to be prosecuted. It should not only be celebratory and forget about it and move on. If Senegal decide to hold Sanna in Senegal, there are laws in Senegal. There's a justice system in Senegal. He have to go through it if he commit any offense. But Senegal can only try Sanna for the crimes he committed in the Gambia based on the universal jurisdiction, just as they did to Hissan Habre and other causes. It can happen, and we will welcome that as well. That would be another precedence that all these junglers or who where they are, we have seen others tried in Germany, in US and Switzerland, then that will further hold this government accountable for the lacking the spirits and deliberately putting the cost of trials to an exhibiting amount, that knowing that there's no will now for the international community to commit to that financing. The financing is either to please their lawyer friends or just to make it impossible for trials to happen. The justice system is so important, and the trial of these criminals is so important. We should prioritize our national budget, and if any other resources come to means, be this Commonwealth giving us lawyers or judges or whatever it is, or the ECOWAS, within the ECOWAS states or whatever it is, if we have the political will, we can do it. But this government are taking the longest routes in order to avoid the commitment that they owe to Gambian people, and these are the issues we should discuss, not to celebratory for the arrest of a single individual when many individuals could be arrested. Let's move on to the second topic. Embalo moved from Bissau to Brazzaville. It is important and very important for Gambians. And I have seen the politicization of this issue as well, based on people, especially those people lack the courage to come out to show their support to what they are supporting. They caveat that they don't like Sonko, which is true, but they don't tell you why they don't like Sonko. It's not because of those policies, because those same people are advocating for those policies in other countries. They will criticize Barrow for not putting up justice. They will criticize Barrow for corruption and everything. And they will even criticize members of the opposition for not having the position of sovereignty, of position of making good, enforcing rule of law, position of democracy, position of economic empowerment or sovereignty. But when it comes to Sonko, it's a problem, because of their prejudices to Sonko. Some of them, their niveau intellectual snobbery, which they don't even understand that Sonko is more qualified than them, with their doctorates even. He was a trained technocrat who have proven track record, who have served almost 20 years within the civil service, and he was civil service trained, who was a financial analyst. But they have prejudice for tribe, they have prejudice for a lot of other things. But they are complex to establishment. They cannot stand someone that have the courage to challenge the establishment, because of their complex of to accept an establishment. That's why they will accept Macky Sall. They cannot advance any facts, evidences that Macky Sall is a good leader for what they have said. That's why they will not come out to say that they support Macky Sall, but they are against Sonko. For what? Especially if you are a Senegalese. For us supporting Sonko, because we have seen ideas and programs and policies that we align to. It's not because of his surname, not because of his appeal of any other thing. It's based on evidence. It's based on evidence. If we advocate for good governance in our countries, why don't we want good governance in Bissau? Are we not sensible enough, educated enough to know that if we allow things to prevail in Bissau, those things are likely to prevail in our countries? Then if things are corrected in Bissau, our neighbors, it's likely things to be corrected in our country. If head of states are held responsible within the accountable within the ECOWAS, helps our country so that the president will be held accountable. These are the reasons why we support what we support. If you are against what we support, then tell us what you want in your country, or for your people, for your country. If you are a hypocrite, if you are not if you don't suffer from complex or ignorance, what are you? Make your point. They will not make that point. They make the point of against, but what are you for? We tell people when we're against, but we tell people what we are up for. They are not. Let me give an example. Embalo left Guinea-Bissau. We know the crimes he committed before the elections. The undermining of democracy and killing, extrajudicial killings and orders of opposition and armed forces members, of flaming coups and everything else. If you were not aware of those facts, fine. Nobody holds you responsible for knowing those facts. But if you are to comment of the outcome of an election, you should know the facts of that election then. When even other head of states or former head of states stood out to say that this is not a coup d'etat. Jonathan, who have grown up almost 70 years, grown up in the system of coup d'etats, all form of coup d'etats, Jonathan, former President Jonathan, have witnessed. But he could not even articulate. He was confused. No, this is not a police coup. It's true, it's not a police coup. He had to settle with the word, it's a ceremonial conducted by the president himself. If those people that supervise the elections, people that experience of knowing all this and come out to say it as it is, what problem do you have about that? No, they will not talk about those things. And this is what we should be aware of. Let's not give time to people like this. Let's try to educate them by be proactive in educating, trying to put education into the masses. And they would stand out for their ignorance and their prejudices. The issue came out that Embalo did what he did, and everybody knew what he did. He undermined democracy. But not only democracy. Bissau, knowing their history, is so fragile. The country is so polarized on based on tribes and religious boundaries. They went through civil wars. Civil wars. I'm not saying war. Now to regain, to build a foundation, to move forward, this criminal went and destabilized everything, and the country might end up to war again. End up, we never know. It's still not resolved. But he decided for his safety, knowing that staying there can still be dangerous because soldiers are unpredictable, or human beings are unpredictable when it comes to power. We can go to the history of the Ottomans. We can go to the history of the Mongols. We can go to the many histories and we'll tell you. And in the contemporary history right now, we are seeing it in Senegal. People are scratching their head. Oh, how can Jomai do that to Sonko? Don't you know? Don't you understand power? Don't you understand power? He knows. He cannot stay in the state house and still declare a coup. There are not many conducive environments in Bissau that he can stay to monitor whatever plan he put in place. He will have to find a safe decision. Would you allow your neighbor to put their house in fire and come and sit in your house and watch that fire, and that fire have the potential to contaminate your house? Would you not condemn that? Because of what happened in Bissau today, Bissau is bothering customers. We know insecurity in Bissau what it means for customers. And the others know, and if we say customers, there are the southern part of customers, but the northern part of customers as well. Bissau have, I believe, have the longest border with Senegal than any other country. You think Senegal should not be bothered about the instability that can ensue in Bissau? Knowing the history. They know what it was like during the liberation struggle, how much they were affected. They know what it was like during the recent, rebellions or civil wars that they encountered. But remember too, the other part of the border of Senegal, Mali, is unstable. Is it not to Senegalese national, interest to make sure this country's democratization and stability and progress is ensured? Now, for this person to be selfish to do all this, to go to a safe haven and sit down to monitor, just for thinking that, because he's not stupid, he's stupid, but not very stupid to stay there. Because people are reading through this, saying that this one-time, so-called one-time transition, with the choice of the Prime Minister being his prime campaign manager, where results are already known, as Jonathan has eloquently said. He said results are already known. They want the results to be determined and the rightful person this thing. Or put in place. He's not asking for an armed conflict to push these soldiers, but to put it out there, and for the right to person to be put in place. And what he means is the opposition leader have won. Shouldn't that not be the position of every country? That meant well for democracy, that meant well for our neighbors, that meant well for your country, that did not have the aspirations to do what he has done. You will not see Adam Barrow to support the position or his government. But you will find that people support Macky Sall would support what Embalo did, because Macky Sall wanted the same thing in Senegal, but luckily Senegal still got amount of integrity in their independent security forces, that Macky Sall would not try everything, and even made a statement many times that if the politicians did not agree to let me have my way, technically we have more organized force to assume power, then we'll let them assume power. For all what Senegal have worked for Macky Sall to say that tells you the level of devilish, of greed are in these individual leaders. They care not for their country, they care not for their people. Then us people should care for our people and care for our country, our sovereignty. Embalo chooses to go to Senegal with all the politics of writings and lies. It's not logical to say that Embalo wanted Abidjan or other places. It's a lie. Embalo, with all reasons, grew up in Senegal. Embalo grew up in Dakar. Embalo made his presidency from Dakar. Embalo was involved in all kinds of dodgy deals, especially with the cartel. After he prematurely left the army at the rank of captain as an intelligence, with people being doubt in many forms, how he attained that. And left, and he was doubling in Dakar, getting involved in money doubling, getting in all these kind of crimes, and supported Macky Sall's campaign to become a president. Until there become an opportunity due to the crisis in Bissau, Macky Sall uses his leverage to make him elected a prime minister, and came back again, supported him to form a political party, and use his muscle influence within ECOWAS and all the means to rig elections and become a winner and Since then, he cannot be popular because of he have never legitimately won an elections. He have never been to become a president. And since we've been a president, we all have, we know what have transpired in Bissau. Inventing coups, killing people, the narco trade and stuff. He hardly spent time in Bissau, bringing back ECOWAS for his security. Now, he put in a plan to return back to power. And that's why he will conveniently, where he have assets in Senegal, where he have friends, where he have networks, and he have already started to re-establish. Because of President Jomai have been compromised and re-establishing contacts with the Macky Sall cabals, which Embalo is part of. He chooses to get to Senegal. From the floor of Parliament, a member of Parliament asks a question to the Prime Minister, and the word diplomacy, we have to really understand what diplomacy means. Diplomacy should be the means to advance your interest, people's interest, sovereign interest. Diplomacy should not be used in any way that endangers your interest and the interests of your people. You think Senegalese are stupid? If the Prime Minister refuses to answer the question, even more dangerous than the Prime Minister answering the question. People will read more into it. The Prime Minister swear to respond truthfully to Parliament. And the Prime Minister, caveat, I even said, this is my opinion of what have transpired, and that opinion is a universal opinion for all, good governance loving people. What's the problem with that then? What's the problem with that? Oh, it's diplomacy. The diplomacy is the premise of the president. That's a lie. And we have to understand the dynamics. Sonko is not just a prime minister. We have to accept the realities. If the president fails to consult the president, the prime minister, fails to take guidance from the prime minister, knowing the prime minister more experience, and the prime minister have command of support in the house and in the country. That's what the facts are. That's where the premise of the diplomacy should be. Not on the interest of Jomai and the cabal of Macky Sall. That's not the interest of Senegal. The interest of Senegal is the interest of the majority that decided. And I can tell you, even most of those who have voted even for Amadouba, most of those who have agreed that that should be their interest. Unless if they don't know. Unless if they are ignorant to their for where their interest is. Every progressive should have think that way. For Sonko to make a statement and said it as it is, that's another evidence of then how influential the prime minister is. Because of Embalo recognizes that this prime minister is the person in charge, or he have the legitimacy to make so things happen in this country. That's what you will read through it. The next day he have to jump into a plane to go to Brazzaville, and we all know when Barrow took the first plane and went to Brazzaville, where did we end up with him? Went to Brazzaville. I know some people are not following the inner workings of what is happening in Senegal. But even even a spin doctor came out to lie. Oh, when even how to call it, Embalo never intended to stay in Senegal. That's a lie. He always wanted to go to Brazzaville. I mean, in fact, this thing, Embalo, Brazzaville president was trying to get a hold of Jomai. He could not get hold of Jomai. Someone had to come through me, and I managed to put him to Jomai. Nonsense. A sovereign, this thing would not know how to get another sovereign head of state. Would have to go to a TV commentator to get to the president. That's all spin. But Senegalese are not stupid. Trying to extradite, saying, oh, there's not much. Oh, because saying that the president of Brazzaville did not know Jomai, they are not included. That's a lie. Probably Jomai have signed up to their secret society. That's Adama Barrow went and signed up to. That Macky Sall signed up to. That Embalo signed up to. The headquarters is in Brazzaville. Evil as it is. Now for Senegal, I mean for that expression, Gambians or any progressive loving person should welcome that. This is a statement to say that Senegal should not stand to enable a criminal to undermine the governance of the democracy, the future of their country, which is welcoming. That's what we expect from Pan-Africanists. We cannot blame the neo-colonialist, the imperialist for undermining stability of our country, and we encourage it to our neighbors, which is not to our interest. Whose interest are we serving? Should Senegal serve the interest of Embalo or Bissau? Is the interest of Bissau stability and progress not the interest of Senegal? Now they're trying to spin it to say, oh, he just wasn't. What's he doing in Dakar? Does it not make sense where he have more the proximity of Bissau and Dakar and his knowledge of that place and everything else, his wealth and everything in Dakar? He's not more comfortable in Dakar. Under Macky, the Malian president, almost all the corrupt these things within Africa, West Africa for that matter, where's their base? In Dakar. Undermining their economies and doing all those things. And now we have a government there that say, no, I'm not going to encourage this. The reason the opposition won in Bissau is because of Macky wasn't there. He would have held them rig the elections. And this is what the Gambia government is worried to. That they might have lost the influence in Dakar or the support from Dakar to rig elections and to be used as cover to stay in power. And this message sent from Embalo being booted out would be something else. But don't think that Barrow did not realize that. Go and find out. Most of their dealings now is along the coast of West Africa, from Nigeria. They bought a property, says Barrow, Fatmata Barrow for that matter. They bought a property in Abuja. And they are in Togo, they are in all these countries. And this is an allegation. I've not confirmed it, trying to confirm it. Even the coming of the opposition from Cameroon is through the First Lady to their West African networks of fuller confederations or whatever you call them. That's where they knew each other. The contacts came from there to come to the Gambia. Just tell you, the First Lady is operating outside her remit as the spouse of a president. He's a co-president and involved in the midst of the biggest corruption that's going in our country. Using Ibrahim Jabi as his logistics within the cartels, economic cartel, drug cartel, or any other dealings going on. With the Russian oil scandal, with everything going on in that country. Even with the cyber criminals, Ibrahim Jabi was their logistics officer, and Ibrahim Jabi is a right-hand person to the First Lady. country of cartel. I mean, cartel running the entire country. Now, we have to understand that this is what Senegal represented before. They invited Hissène Habré. Over the years, they exploited him, take everything and put him on trial, just as what others do. By giving shelter to Hissène Habré for all these years, Hissène Habré was still operating from Dakar, using the resources he had taken out, and prolonged the problems from his country. If presidents know that they don't have safe havens, because they realize it's now difficult to live in Europe because of the universal, judicial, mechanisms that torture and other things can be tried outside their distance, and there are civil organizations that will push on for their prosecution orders. They will try to this, and that's why we should cut off that assurance, so that they will do the right thing when they're in government. That was a welcome move. And now, by Embalo going all the way to Brazzaville, make it more difficult for him to have control over what's in Bissau. But again, we are calling up for ECHO. ECHO is just pointless for that matter, but that's what we expect for to come out from ECHOWAS. Let's move on to the final chapter here. The main headline that we want to discuss: the blowing up of a Russian Gambian registered tanker. A tanker story too. I want to start first. We are not blaming the government of the Gambia for using the method or the mechanism of providing the flag of convenience of our sovereignty to other commercial vessels, be it maritime or the aviation. This is a practice very common in the globe. And countries like Liberia had this, and almost they used to have a monopoly actually for this sort of operations. And other countries do have it. Singapore do have it, and other countries. It's a very good initiative. It does bring in wealth and so on. What we object to, because the way and manner this thing should be done, you don't give it willy-nilly. There should be a consideration of due process. Assessment should be carried out to know that by giving out this license or the flag to be used as convenient, it's not detrimental to the national security of our Gambia. It's not just to be given out because of those people are paying. And the second thing too is we want to know how much. We want accountability. We want to be able to access to know who are those holding our flags. The Maritime Administrative Agency, you call them, or what, would need to have that accessible for any Gambians to find out, or any person to find out. Not cover it up, because of once it's transparent, even that's part of the mechanisms to stop criminals using it to pose a threat to our national security. But the money, how much is raised? Where does it go? How those things are accounted for is something that we want to know. But I can tell you one thing. You remember some months ago, the president have changed the person who was there. And I can't remember the name. The only reason he changed the person, the man that was there, was because he was not having equal share or the share he expects from the lucrative deals that come into this flag of convenience. This is what he found out. Then he replaced that man with a lady who is married to a family friend of his, the brother of the managing director of Social Security, Malam. The other brother who was the ambassador to Qatar moved to Morocco, and the reason he moved that family friend to Morocco because of the businesses and the property deal he was going for. I don't know how far they gone with that property deal in Morocco. This is why he is now frequenting Morocco, and the other medical checkups that he does in Morocco, to have a trusted person at the embassy that looks after this. Just as Yaya Jammeh used to do. He always appoints someone at strategic things for his service, but not for Gambians. I forgot the name of the ambassador. You can Google it. That ambassador, one of the ambassador's wives, now is appointed as a gatekeeper to run this maritime agency. Why? It's not about competency. I'm not questioning her competency, but it's because of the revenue coming out. Go and look at the board of the agency. Who are they? NPP. Look at the board of agency. They are NPP. This is why it's important. First, there are so more, because I am more after the national security, and I'm going to put it on evidence that we need to know about this. That's why we have to do what it takes democratically to elect a government that is fit for purpose. We don't want change for change's sake. We don't want change of executive and the same system states and continue. These are the things we have to avoid. But I can tell you that with Barrow's government, they can never reform themselves and they can never change. It's just going to get worse. The complacency is that once they're getting away with it, once they can manipulate and stay by rigging elections and everything, because we are so divided, we allow them. It's not only the suffering we are based on the cost of living, but it's the risk they pose on our stability. Because the way, the speed this country is going into corruption and neglect is not sustainable. With the drug cartels, with everything else, with the lack of creating jobs for the youths and every other thing, it's just disaster. We are living in an emergency. Look at the back way. The desperation for our youths. Look at the gangs. Now, areas, conservative areas like Sinchu and others, telling you they have gangs roaming about fighting each other. And we know that they are not fighting each other because of football. It's not Nawetan fighting. That's what we used to know from conservative environments. Or political maneuvering at the time of elections only. After elections, you forget your differences and come back together. These people are fighting because of the drug maniac in that country. The lack of amenities, lack of almost everything, hope. But we move on to it. We have seen evidence. A company called Magic Hair that's registered in the Gambia to use the flag of convenience of Gambia to be running, and it's been going, and still this government did not stop that. We pose as restore national security. They are buying aircrafts legitimately using the Gambian flag, but they are buying it for rogue states. They're buying it for, I don't term Iran as rogue states, but internationally it's termed as a rogue state under sanctions. Sanction busting. To Belarus, to all the states. They are buying aircraft, they are buying spare aircraft, spares and everything to keep these things going. That's sanction busting. People might say, oh, that's good for Gambia, but we are not benefiting from this. The monies raised from these activities are not coming to us. They are going to individuals, Barrow and his cabal. We have to think of the risk factors, which I am going to touch on. If anybody can buy a plane on a Gambian flag and fly around, your same plane can one day turn up to our countries and pose a real risk. These are the things we need to think about. If we take part in these things, we have to understand the consequences, whether it's worth it or not. And it's not worth it. We have seen in the case, Google it, where one of the planes were bought from Kuwaiti Airlines, brought to the Gambia, and later it caused a national security issue in Bissau. Flew into Bissau under the permission given by the president on a clandestine operation. Still, nobody can tell you exactly what it is. People suspect drugs, arms, or anything, which led to the Embalo to go on a fake coup in order to redress that. And still, the Gambian government have never addressed the owner of that plane that left our airport. If you understand aviation security, you understand the protocols, how stringent they are. The consigners, non-consigners, the level you have to go to operate a plane. But we make it so easy. You can land the plane, you can take off a plane. Right now, Abubakar is running a plane leased from Brazil. That plane that is flying, switching off his navigating this thing so that you cannot trace where he goes, where he comes from. When we raise that, we know what we are raising. The evidence, we said this is what they were doing. Guess what? Few weeks after that, they said that the plane was broken into and the equipment stolen. They said the equipment stolen. Those are the equipments, when we check, those are the things that switch off the flight data so that you cannot trace the plane. It's still operating in the Gambia with Abubakar. There is no Gambian businessman who can keep a private jet on the tarmac flying in and out. There's no that business. That business must be either linked with drug cartel, money laundering, or from drug cartel or money laundering from the state and other crimes. There's no business that is that profitable in the Gambia. All this flack of convenience and everything, that's what it does. But we know this monies that goes to the NPP. That's why they're so rich. They can buy anything, they can do anything, they can build anything, they squander anything. For NPP chairwoman, you see, these people are so complacent now. To buy a camel, to buy a horse, to buy cows or whatever and give it to the president. You think, and he has no legitimate business, you think it's something that he's, and where is that money coming from? We used to know Yai company expecting something from the president, not now the Yai company this thing. For the former IGP who's now a minister as an IGP buying 2 vehicles and giving it to the president. We all seen that. That's what NPP is. Now, what happened? What we read from the journals, if you just bear me a minute, what we have read from the journals says that 2 Gambian registered oil tankers brought under heavy Western sanctions for ferrying Russian crude in defiance of Ukraine war restrictions were struck by powerful explosion in the Black Sea on Friday, Turkish authorities confirmed. This is what they said happened. The first vessel, the 2008 built Ambrax tanker Kairos IMO number flag Gambia caught fire at approximately 28 nautical miles off Turkey's Black Sea coast while en route to Russia, Novorossiysk terminal. Turkey Directorate General for Maritime Affairs stated the blaze was triggered by external impact. Transport Minister Abubakar Urugul told reporters primary information from the ship points to a possible mine. Dramatic footage released by the Turkish Coast Guard shows 115,000 knots of tanker engulfed in flame. All 25 crew members, mostly Chinese national, were safely evacuated. It continued to say, less than 2 hours later, a second Gambian flag tanker, Virat, IMO number, reported being hit 35 nautical miles off the Turkish coast. The vessel crew radioed that it had come under drone attack, according to local source cited by Turkish media. Photograph distributed by the authorities reveal a large breach in the starboard hull above the waterline. Rescue tugboats and helicopters were dispatched to evacuate via 20 crew members. Now, we have to consider this happened nearly or within Turkish territory. If this can happen in Turkey, which have a first-class army, security and everything else, what we have to think of Gambia? I'll come to that later. These vessels, how they operate. The vessels goes into Russia, the terminals, they take supplies of crude oil and other petroleum products. They'll come out to the Black Sea somewhere. That's what we call the shadowy other vessels, smaller vessels. I forgot there's a terminology for it. The dark or black vessels of shadowy vessels. Those one will come in and connect and take the supplies from Russia, from these tankers into these things, and they will go out to other markets, especially in the African market. But something else do happen while they take that fuel, that petroleum product from those tankers that took it from Russia. It's mixed. This is where they mix the petroleum product with how to call it, other dead oil, some of this cooking oil. They put other chemicals to make it work or to blend or whatever it is, and that is I forgetting the chemical again, will come to me. And they bring it to African markets. This is where, remember the Russian petroleum case in the Gambia, cartel case in the Gambia. What this does, sulfur, they add sulfur in it. This is why there was a time in the Gambia that the pipeline that connect to Gambia petroleum corroded and burst because of the amount of sulfur in the petrol, some smuggled petrol to the Gambia. This is why many vehicles in the Gambia would have their pumps and technical problems because of the amount of sulfur in the petrol. This is why NAWEC, most of the engines at NAWEC, that the president made sure that Haji Bani Sissoho is given an exclusive contract buying this bad fuel, high percent of sulfur, going through the machines. Most of the machines stopped, and the president came out fabricating to say that because we don't need the energy generated anymore. No, because they have, even the new engines or nearly new engines have been corrupted due to the corrupt practice that the President Barrow and Haji Bani Sissoho, who is a financier of NPP and chairman of NPP. This is the petrol they bring to Africa. Now, why? Today has been confirmed. It's Ukraine special forces that attacked the ships. We knew that before the announcement, because Ukraine is trying to stop the supplies, to start off the financial benefits that Russia will have to continue the war. They are attacking refineries, they're doing all that. But do you know what else Ukraine is doing? Ukraine is supporting the jihadists in Mali and other and in the Sahel. And now they are training them or equipping them or blending, because we are having retired soldiers or active soldiers going to Ukraine just as they're going to Russia. The West will always report the ones going to Russia. They are Gambians, they are Senegalese, they are Malians, they are other nationals. Now they're training them in the use of these drones and others and send them on their mission to target Russian forces within the Sahel, but again, target the governments in the Sahel for allowing the Russians to give them services to make wealth, and that wealth they use to fight them. They have broadened the war. Now the reason the Malians are struggling now, the sophistication with the rebels, it's not because of their AK-47 and rockets. They are using drones that are targeting from distance, targeting these convoys of tankers, destabilizing Mali, but again affecting the economy of Gambia, Senegal, and those countries that are transiting fuel to Mali and Ivory Coast and others, because they are now moving different fronts. Now Russia had to provide more tankers, they have to provide security, they have to all do that. It's costing them more and concentrating more. Now they're taking the fight out of Ukraine to distract the Russians on that end. These are all the reasons they're doing it. And over a year ago, even their special forces, not borrowed, special forces, went and attacked a convoy of Malians embedded with Russian special forces. They attacked and massacred them with drones. Now, let nobody say that, oh, Ben is putting ideas to the Ukrainians. You think Ben is smart enough to have ideas that the Ukrainians don't have? Or encourage Ukrainian to do things that they don't want to do or they don't want to think of? That's a lie. If the Ukrainians have the audacity to go within maritime borders of Turkey to attack Russian assets, what do you think? If we continue in this way and manner, is it not possible? If any of those tankers or any other tanker that's linked to the supply of petroleum, which is still happening in the Gambia. And you know, the parliamentary inquiry only talked about the amount of petrol, because they went and created a monopoly, which Ibrahim Jabi, again, the agent for the First Lady, Abu Nobin, Abdul Job Nobin, as energy minister, IGP, former IGP, now interior minister, Abdullah Sanna, and so many actors were directly complicit. And the Gam Petroleum general manager, Yano Jalo, who is a friend to Barrow, who gave him that position, is not capable of holding. They created a monopoly that the entire storage facility at the Gam Petroleum was, of petrol from Russia, because of they were making their deals and not even paying our taxes, but bringing bad petrol. Not only that, do you know there's a private, smaller storage facility? They were using that facility as well, technically monopolizing the petroleum things, and even the Abdul Job, the former the energy minister, who is now the tourism minister. What did he do? Brought out a policy directive framework that even stopped Gambian middlemen, technical, or I don't want to use middlemen, commercial CMOs, commercial oil marketers, stopping them from, technically playing the role they normally play. Now, they have to go directly to the Russian assets and to buy from them. They created all this for themselves. How many millions? Still, we can't even determine all the facts because of the taxes and everything have not been dealt with. It's always the proof that Barrow does something not for the country, not for the people. Barrow does something for himself and his cattle. And the cabal around him, they all become multimillionaires. IGP become a multimillionaire, I mean Abla Sanna, before he become a minister, multimillionaire. They've been building two mansions together until we started talking about he stopped pretending, and he did the building within 6 months because he was paid monthly by the Russian cartel. Everything else came out to the committee. Something we have reported far before this thing, until it gets to a level they had to investigate. Now, if we allowed these things to continue, what would say that it's easy for these things to be done? That we not wake up one day to say that drones have attacked our fuel storage facilities and they are all in fire. The Ukrainians don't care because nothing will come out of it. They are protected. We can do nothing. If the Turkish can do nothing about them attacking vessels in our territory, what do you think? They are backed by NATO. What say that one of these ships coming to our shores, at the port, they can attack them in there. The life risk and everything else. Why? What's the benefit of this? Why can't we do something legal? But again, according to the article, both Kairos and Viral appear on a US, this is the two tankers, US Treasury OFAC sanctions list, and the EU restrictive measures for participation in Russia, so-called dark or shadow fleet. Yeah, the shadow fleet, I wanted to say, dark or the shadow fleet. Shadow fleets that circumvent the G7 price cap on Russian oil. Gambia has emerged as a flag of convenience of choice for dozens of aging tankers engaged in the Russian trade since 2022, despite the repeated diplomatic protests from Washington and Brussels. You see, for the interest of the NPP, the cartels, the cabal of Barrow and Barrow wealth, generational wealth ambitions, he can disregard international accords or measures. But to be proactive in engaging the EU or the European Union, for that matter, for the migrant situation to be uplifted, we are not saying not to be deported, but to bargain for something better for them, he doesn't care. Because his son and daughter, or even now niece and nephews, because the amount of wealth within the family now. Barrow is a multimillionaire. The wives are multimillionaires. Barrow's brother now is a multimillionaire to the point that he's got a celebrated Senegalese wife now, Bully. He have tractors, he have everything. Barrow's sister, who is married to the IGP, Halimatu or something, is a multimillionaire. Barrow niece, nephew Amadou Sane is a multimillionaire, all from within a short period because of Barrow is the president. Njaga Sane now is living outside the Gambia, apparently Sweden, I think, but because of apparently he either squandered or robbed the uncle for almost $500,000. I'm not sure it's dollars or what. This is what we have. All this become millionaires. Within a short period, they are not affected. The price of commodity does not affect them. Even the insecurities does not affect them because they are giving every security needed and everything else. But they will continue to use this corruption as a means to stay in power. To give presidential advisors. Almost now everybody is a presidential advisor or something. What's the point of all these ministries? They are just gatekeepers. They are not doing it because of it's a lucrative salary as a president advisor. No, so that they can beg more. All the president advisors are beggars. Their salary is not much. But they will be seen as gatekeepers, someone that can go to Barrow and talk good about and or ministers and so on. They run around ministers, they run around business people, begging. They have no soul. They have no soul. They will use money to the eye companies, buy companies. They will use money to opinion leaders, religious leaders, to further divide us based on tribe, based on religion, based on sect, within even the Islamic Ummah. They don't care. They will use money to undermine every civil society that is proactive, that is progressive, to reduce them to nothing so that the government would not be held accountable. They will take every strategic institution or independent institution and put their incompetent and corrupt people so that there will be no oversight, institutional oversights. All these committees and everything else. They will draw out budgets that keep on corrupting the corrupt members of parliament to pass all the budgets regardless of what the budget stands for, making them all useless elected members, most of them actually. By the end of the day, it's the institution we're talking about, not individuals. And where the government cannot produce any development plan that address a sustainable development of our country, leading to risk everywhere for youths, society, and everything else. Now they are involving the cartel. We have seen the evidence where cartel members don't go to prison. Cartel members get tapped on the back and let them continue. You import 2 tons of cocaine, you charge peanuts, and you are free to continue to do what you do. We have seen Pablo still running around, enforcing. Apparently, we got information that the reason he attacked the person, that he attacked in that apartment, because that person took products from him and did not pay back. That's what cartels do. He enforced him because he gave out illicit drugs to someone to sell and the person did not pay back. He have to teach him a lesson. He has been doing that, have been arrested and nothing comes out of it because the entire system is broken. We have seen the president's lawyer, Sirif Tambedu, acting. We have no problem. We understand the duties of lawyers, but not when you take part in the money laundering itself. Yes, Sirif Tambedu took part in the money laundering when he went and attacked upon an account for Banta, for Banta not being present in absentia, and getting money paid into that account, and that money later been withdrawn and transferred to his personal account. That's money laundering. And for knowing all the facts and represented all of these people, knowing all the facts, and the same Sirif will be saying, I'm going to Ummah, I'm going to Mecca, I am a good citizen, I'm from a good family, and this is all rubbish. We are taking the common criminals and locking them, abusing their human rights. The innocence, presumption of innocence is out. Because if you lock up anyone more than a year for a crime that, in remand, for a crime that he might not be guilty of, what are you telling us? What's the need of keeping that person when they have not even killed a person? Not a capital punishment, but the people that import or control assets and everywhere of drug proceeds are free to walk away with their assets. But we see what's happening to our children, the youths. Senegambe strip, Kololi Travel, even now in conservative areas like the Talending and others, prostitution, the women and the young men committing violent crimes because of drugs. And we have the so-called elites be at the head of it. The same people that represent the president and the MPP benefit from this. And this is what we have. I think it's time for us. This is not only a challenge to the opposition. The opposition is us. We who opposed what is going wrong in the country, we need to organize more. We need to be more active and hold this government accountable to make sure we get them out and to make sure we replace with capable leaders that will serve the purpose they are elected in office for. And we continue to hold them accountable to maintain the good governance we aspire for. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes, I just want to do this Facebook Live right quick because I posted something about Yangs and a lot of people are inboxing me and some of them are calling me and then some of them are on my Facebook wall and then, you know, try to disagree with me, right? So matter of fact, I have to be out here and then try to explain to you people so you can understand the reason behind it. First of all, you know, I'm not in UCF politics right now, and I know, I mean, some people disagree simply because of their politicians, or simply because of they dislike Yangs, or simply because of they're supporting another political party, right? But people like us, we just try to be factual, right? You see, what Yang said and what he's doing in Brikama Area Council, giving out funds to these councillors to develop their areas. I mean, it's not a bad thing. Lulo Hamela, Luara Amla. Yes, Luara Amla. I mean, they have their laws, their own local government acts, and, you know, so these things are there. You know, reason why, be it Talib, Mudan Joy Halis, be it Youngs, the Joy Halis, be it Rohi, Malilo, be it Nyop, they know Joy Halis to these local councillors. Pour you want to develop what's it coming. Right, Lolo Amla. So now, Shigans Gene Mune, if you vote for us, we will give you 5 million. Right. Some are saying, nah, that is wrong. I mean, he shouldn't have said that. That's inducement. Okay, you know. Now, Mansiman, I see it differently. Because of, fine, Yangs is a politician. Let us also always remember, Yangs is a politician. You see, Lisrone, it was a technocrat who had the Bokusiben political party. Right. If the person does not belong to any political party, so whether the chairmanship or these mayors are not elected officials, no, they do not belong to any political party, then, okay, maybe they will not involve in any politics, or maybe they will not say anything regarding comme Yangs numko wahe maybe ñu duñ ko don wahe non ne solo ñu votale suñ démé office. I mean, we will give these local councillors maybe 5 million pour guy c'est what's pour ñu develop ko. Now, I have few questions for you. Suma kodogi modu ndaw, I saw what you wrote. But again, there are a few questions for you. Yunus Haidara, you're in England here. You live in Britain. Tell me one single politician. Tell me one single politician in this world today. If you vote for us, we will do A, B, C, and D. Tell me one politician who do deflulu. You see, every political party, you have your programs, right? Your policies. And how do you sell these programs and these policies? Moi, when you stand before people, so they may see any political platforms, you know, this is where ngade genane. So when you sign the carta, dinañ defal A, B, C, and D. And this is not law, and it's new. Right? It happens every part of the world. It happens every part of the world. Even in Britain, even in America. In fact, your president is the worst. Donald Trump, in fact, they've had threatened even these business people. Right? Look, you are. Apple, Google, all these companies. See, India would send, if they did not build companies in America, if they did not bring back jobs to America, he will increase their taxes. Right? He will increase everything to 200, 300% or more. In fact, Mom, he's touching them. This is what Donald Trump did. In fact, he's touching them. Right? Equally, wahune, suwine presidency, Democrats, wahune, suwine presidency, they will do A, B, C, and D. This is politics, bro. In Britain here, right? Labour Party, just a few days ago, did they talk Fini, their new Home Office Minister? Send Home Office Minister as we talk in Parliament. What did she say? Wahune asylum seekers, A, B, C, and D. Right? Wahune asylum seekers, right? Kunyo Fini, in fact, it will take you 30 years, but I like your kid and do a fee. Right? Time election, do not town. If you vote for us, time election, if you vote for us, we will deport like A, B, and C, and D. They say these things. These are policies. These are programs or their wishes. And every politician does this. So I don't see the difference with Youngs. Youngs wahune. Right? So I am not going to give APRC word 1 million and give UDP word 2 million. No, he did not say that. Youngs wahune. So Carta. I am not going to give NPP word 0, Manjang 5 million. Youngs never said that. Young done the Carta. So we will give 5 million. Matter of fact, Sugai winu sa momuneka Birkama area council. Of course, Sugai Harris he will give because right now, UDP is not in control of this government, and Youngs will get there. So equally, you know what I'm saying? Sugai winu 2026, Youngs will continue the way. So my point is, every politician says these things because these are your only ways to sell your policies. These are your only ways to sell your programs. You stand before people, your supporters, or before anyone else. You go to the radio stations, you go to the national televisions, you go online and tell people that if you vote for us, this is what you're going to get in return. You can call it inducement, you can call it all sorts of names, but these are realities, these are facts. And I'm a realist. These are facts. It happens every part of the world. Because, like I said, every political party, then they have programs, then they have agendas. This is what you say. If you vote for us, we will give this amount of money. Now, if you vote for us, we will build you roads. If you vote for us, we will give you new markets. If you vote for us, we will create A, B, and C. If you vote for us, this is what we're going to do. Lolo is, man, every politician money wallo, be it the West or Fenen, because this is the only way. Now you tell me, How are you going to sell your agenda? How are you going to sell your program? Because opposition be doing for that talk. Be even Halifa Salah, that do for that talk, they saw you shall Carta. Right? We have this national sovereignty funds or national sovereign funds you want to create. Then we will give the farmers this. We will give we will give housing for this. We will do this and this and this. So is that inducement? Is that also inducement? Right? That what I'm the fagena. So you sign the Carta. Right? We will bring a new constitution. We'll give you this. We'll give you that. We'll give you this. Is that inducement? Is that also inducement? Right? As a file, when solo you sign the Carta, corruption will then stop. Wow, didn't yoka fili, didn't definitely, didn't build more school, didn't definitely. We'll give our people this ugly. Is that also inducement? Come on, man. We have to, you see, this is politics. These are the only ways, be it the opposition, be it the incumbent, sells their agenda, sells their programs. So if youngs, so gonna say, Mune, so you vote on it, I will give 5 million. That's just normal. It's normal in every country, in every settings, that is just normal. So you guys are taking it too far. So politics, mom, they want to digger. This is part of politics. We have to be factual, we have to be truthful. And every politician did not want lead. You can call it, like I said, inducement, you can call it whatever you want. But it's not going to change anything. Because it comes with the territory. It comes with politics. Right? So if we get a then, we will have politicians the giant agenda. Let's not tell any politician to sell their programs. Because how are they going to sell it? You know? How will people hear what they're going to do for them? This is the only way. Not a rally. You vote we will do A, B, C, and D for you. Wow. In fact, agenda, program, li la. So you vote Monday, so you vote Dina 10 million. I mean, call it inducement, but these are just facts. These are facts. Either it's about cash payments, or it's about market development, or it's about school building, or it's about, you know what I'm saying, healthcare, or whatever it is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. What's the difference? So, Lila Amon pour people be, you know, you brought and send halat, like, because no, they are just looking at things one-sidedly. No. Talk and halat, like ngen halat, one politician in this world. Modu talk, jai agenda, jai program, some one in it. When you vote for me, right? A, B, C, and D like death. Because no more time in the opposition. Right? You have to come out and tell people, if I win, this and this and this I'm going to do. It's part of politics. I'll bring you a new constitution. Is that inducement? Tell me. So what we need to tell you, lobby time be, Damoko change. Is that inducement? Is that not inducement? Well, tell me. Right? Tell me, is that not inducement? Wow, because of Yans Gena Sanile, we will give the words. Each word 5 million. Inducement. Now, tell me, Yen party be leadership. Be it like I said, Halifa Salah. That mom genuk ne. So let vote le PDOIS. Do the A, B, C, and D. Is that also an inducement? You know, even the Talib movement is, you know, what ne? Nyom presidency, they will run things differently. They will do A, B, and C, and D. Is that also not inducement? CN? Mama Kandetam Sugena say, never father A, B, and C, and D. Build na borehole A, B, and C, and D. You call that inducement too? If you're in America, Donald Trump again say, ne so ko sani le karta. Election time yep denga na nundanwa. Is that also not inducement? Te am pretty sone yen sani yen karta fufu. Right? because jigen bolen John Sani Karra Kamala tamit gena sina ne mom tam su wine she will do A, B, C, and D. Is that not also inducement? Te Sani ngeko karta? In Britain here, so politicians tam suñ gena se na buñ dene suñ len Sani Karra su ay wine duñ def A, B, C, and D. You want to call that also inducement? You see, we need to understand that these are elected officials and these are politicians. They will come out, they will sell their agendas, they will say things, they will promise people, right? They will sell their agendas and they will promise people and they will say certain things. And that's never going to change. Lulu is everywhere part of the world. As long as politics as long as people will go out there and vote for an individual, these things will happen. As long as political parties do exist, this will happen. Because fuck you and Ninye. Why should we change a government and give you the chance? So you have to sell your agenda to the people. Ninye mulla gom, mulla sani karta. So is that an inducement? Right? Nga jóge fofu. Incumbent bitami President Barrow dafa génn si. Even Sonko taw fi génn si. So la ñu sañale karta ABLC la ñoo def. That's every part of the world. So you call that inducement? Every day Barrow ngi taw si platform yi. Mu ngi promise dëkk bi. Fi la toog promise Brikama ne dafa def Brikama Wi-Fi. Yes. Is that inducement? Come on. So, this is all I have to say. These are politicians, they will come out. Youngs Lunwa Amnasi right, one and another. So when you sign the carta, but that doesn't stop youngs from giving phony money, from giving other works money. Equally, even though these people are not UDP, but youngs equally the amount, but more share within themselves, within those people. So you have 200,000. If I just 200,000, if I just kill 200, equally. So obviously, pretty much, so we need UDP terms in winning, as he said. So more than 5 million, it's going to give 5 million to every one of them each, irrespective of ki APRC la or ki NPP la, you know, the ward chairman, the ward councillor. So any NPP la, that does not deprive him from receiving that money. You know? So I don't see anything Nolan talk an issue. Because this is normal in every country. The West War, Africa War, Asia War, America War, you name it. Every single politician will come out and tell people, sell their policies, sell their agenda, say these things. It's part of politics. So I don't see any wrong. That's more than money. I don't see any wrong. So sit down and think. Your favorite politician, even Barack Obama, Bomo campaign never promised me everything. Donald Trump is perfect. Who never give every American individual $2,000. That Donald Trump johule one check. Yen mi nek America ham yon lol johule one fi halisi check. Cash money. Check. Because of whatever reasons. Right? But this is Gambian law. Local government law la. Pour chairman and mayor, you joxe every ward certain amount of money pour ñu mëna def sen ward development. There's a law. So the chairman can say that and the chairman can dash these funds to them. Yes, now, for my own problem moy, it should be their responsibility, this chairman or these mayors. If you give any ward councillor 200,000, 500,000, 1 million, 10 million, fine. Demal na set fan la mo dugal halis bi ndax genuine na. You should send auditors war nañu xam halis bi war nga ko leena guide ñu def halis bi ci lu am fayda. Nga xamne send ward bi they will benefit from it. Nga xamne ward they will benefit from it. Fine. You just don't give people money. Be pare demulo nga set you guide them and see fan lañu def xaalis bi. For me, if these monies are given to them, at least ñoom war nañoo mën a def loolu. The mayors ak chairman si war nañoo mën a def loolu noonu ñu dem ñu seet ñi fu ñoo dugal xaalis bi ndax genuine na ak fu ñu koo def ndax ñu ngi développe seen dëkk yi ñu ngi def A B and C loo xam ne jar na ko waaw. But it's the local government act. They have the right to give every ward money to develop, every ward chair councillor to develop their wards. Loolu lu wara. Number one. Number two, fuma tejé moy like I said, Donald Trump dafa génn si. Obama génn si na. All American presidents dañoo génn from Bill Clinton. You name it. To even, you know, all your presidents. Any president who génn si. Britain, the same thing, since from Churchill's. Funeka, President Bugenasi, politician Bugenasi, you sell your policies. President Bugenasi, politician Bugenasi, Dina wane soleng masani le karta. Be it Africa, from Macky Sall, be apply water, be Abdou Diouf, be Kuneka, Nganyo, Guinea-Bissau, Conakry, for halal in this world. Every politician will come out and tell you, if you vote for us, we will do A, B, and C, and D. Is that inducement? I ask you guys. Are all those inducements? You know, these are politicians. You need to understand that. Every politician will get us that they were low. Because this is the only way they're going to sell their policies, they're going to sell their programs. Be it they don't talk on platforms, national televisions, right? Online, on campaign, send campaign, you know that me. Right? So Gambian, every politician that they were so let me sign the carta, I'll bring you these reforms. So let me sign the carta, the transportation system in Nigerian Bossini, the in the train, in the Gambia train, the definitely. That's every politician. This is how they sell their programs. Even the president, Sugene, Dinane, Monday, so let me sign the carta. You go this every day, Baron Kodef. So let me sign the carta, def A, B, C, and D. So what's the problem with young girls here? So when you sign the carta, did I give 5 million? Yen buga develop inducement, but the Jensen party leadership, you get them the same thing, but that's not inducement, so that's fine. That's hypocrisy, right? Irrespective of muneka law and mui halis, munyaka halis, everything shown inducement la. So bumane ye be cash halis la or be ni lopitan hana ninya farem tedi. Hana ni ñu febar ñoo dem faji fofu nonu so ñëne ni na la sample school na la sample l'hôpital na la defar roads are this not inducement so you don't believe that ki su na joxe 5 million to these ward councillors lo xamne is a law. So you want to say those ones are inducements, but then ki lu mo promise the president lu mo promise ne tay mu ngey dem fere ne l'hôpital ñu ma sample fini marché yu ma bil fi yu ma tabax fi lé yoon yu ma fi def yeb ben president defu ko fa. So are those not inducements, right? So esa fal gene say na def li lolu inducement, but yang gene si na so lañu signé carte li lolu inducement la. Come on man, we have to be factual, man. So let us put these emotions aside. You know, ñu baye fi hypocrisy bi ñu wax dega, you know, ñu wax dega. On a serious note, Kara Lobuga Magella. You know, you are digger. So, man, this is just all I have to say. You know, Young saying this is not new, and these are facts. Every politician does this. In every part of the world, there is no single politician who town so they must handle a carta, dina definitely, nalen jolly, na definitely. I'm fancy, I don't know. So what is new here now? Even your favorite politician, you got it. But the fact that the young technology is a problem. Come on, man. Let's not get into this. You know, young boom toge tay, mudam si tele naka, mimbe kering. Muna su talib wine sa, mom duko support duko sani card. I came out here. And I said that was absolutely unacceptable. That was wrong. Young Sri has said that. So young Sri is wrong. I'm going to condemn. It's wrong. What is not right cannot be right. What is wrong is wrong. I'm going to condemn. C'est ça si. su waxee lu war a ko rek condamné waaye su defee lu baax tamit equally nañ ko wax président Barrow ngi nii ñëpp xam ne man duma ko dee support but come on how many times laa ko applaud because of am na yu baax yu mu def because nit nu bon obviously dina am benn ñaar ñetti affaire yu baax yu moo def tamit so nañ ko nangul right nañ ko nangul doone ni ki bugguloo ko rek o ni ki supportuloo ko rek you know what I mean you know tax loo xam ne lu baax lu mu def say doo ko gis loolu du ci ko jullit du ci ko ni ku baax yow lu nekk daal is about politics lu ki lu mun a def lu baax yow doo ko wax yow lu bon rek naa féetoo loolu du ko ni ku baax you know money the leader does not say those things GPD okay boy Robert yow sa leader bi xamoo lu wax sa boo jël garaaw mu ne naka la ko dee waxee sa mbee balu Robert yow sa leader bi mu ne mbee balu mu ne ba probable la dóoraat sax boy man sa leader bi booy dam bari tas yow sa leader yi moo jëna on serious any other leader buñ musa am ni Gambia history boy yow sa leader yi boy mbee balu so yow léegi boobu tam inducement la right is that mbee balu boobu tam inducement la sa leader boo ko wax de mu ne sànni leen ñu karta sànni leen Barrow karta mbee balu mu ne ku bugg a jël nguur bi si ñoom ñëpp a see dee right Barrow def na lii Barrow def na lelee so loolu tam yëpp inducement la man we gotta be serious man you know mu ne no back way to State House exactly so man you see these things so we have to be serious you know these are politicians they will say stuff like this you know ndax miin nañ ko wasalaam ndax miinuñ ko wasalaam but they will say these things you know ma ne Barrow fii la wax ne mbe sukuta dega ma naan sukuta sorry man excuse me mu ne mbe Brikama be wifi la you know ndax Brikama wifi nañ ko ba tey mu ne ku nekk dafa am free internet ndax loolu am na Brikama ba tey obviously Barrow wax na ko de waaye kenn gisu ko you know waaye at least with youngs gis nañ bu mu toogee benn tey neewu ba neewu you know youngs am na yeneen ñi nga xam ne daf ko wax man supportuma ko supportuma ko because I believe ne dafa war a tone down I believe ne dafa war a chill calm a little bit I believe that he shouldn't be on social media every other day I believe that he shouldn't be doing those things I believe that he shouldn't be going back and forth with people you know man si man youngs suma déggaloo youngs wouldn't be going back and forth with people youngs shouldn't be on social media every other day no I did not agree to those. You let him just focus on his job here and there. Well, achievements, I mean, every month, once or twice, mu gainer, mu post len nit ñi gis ko, nit ñi xam lu ñoo def, lu moo def, and that's it. Mum nekk di tontu wante, you know, ba pare bu nekk di attack anyone, man si man bu attack anybody. You know, man si man bu attack anybody. Let youngs not even reply to anyone. Even so ko attack nga saga ko bu mu la tontu. Man si man, that's it. You know? Man suma déglu woon li la moo doxalee. Bu mu nekk lu tontu wante kenn. Su nit ñi bindee accuse ko sax na leen faat na leen ignore. Mu continuer liggéeyam. You know, achievement sami di wax nit ñi. Lu mu liggéey mu sànni ko mu post ko. Lu mu liggéey mu post ko mu sànni ko fële. Then, he will get more respect. He'll get more popularity. You know? Man su dee ne man di ma déglu. But you see, am na yu bari daf ne def yooyu I did not agree to it. But su defee lu baax tamit nañ ko wax. So bu ñëw toog naa ne, yeah, because génn na one of the inducement la. Man, every politician moo dee def loolu, every president, yow dëkka boo dëkka si bés bi sax. Yéen seen politician si ñoo daaxa wax ju rëy. Ba pare seen politician yéen equal yéen a dee ewu suba dem sànni leen carte or sànni leen carte online. You know? Come on, man. We have to be, I mean, come on. Let's just be factual here, man. For a minute. Anyway, boy, Robin, ba mo ñëw bàyyi la boy. Yow da mo bëgg a dugal. Yow mo bëgg a dugal si taati kuy def te du ma ko nangu nag. You know? Du ma ko nangu. Anyway, you guys have a good day and then share this. You guys have a new day. Thank you. So let me ngeen man UDP la, or so let me man yang suma harit la mota may faral let me ngeen wa suma yon nekku ci. You know, kigala hey Ibulay. Ibulay yo dina la indi. Ibulay dala indi. Harama indi la. Wa indi la. You know, waxuma dégg suma yon nekku ci parce que man am man ganaari kenn nenuma. Man toguma fi dugg ci politique because of dama sola xaalis dama sola lili man dama mënal suma boba ñoo xamne tay ñu ngi réende ci biir politique bi pour place ñoo xamne tay lu nekk sax naani ko ñëpp gis nañ ko ni baro bi ñu fa nekk yépp 90% bi yépp ñu xamne ñoo ñaan ak ñu meloon ah lekk sa problème xaalis sa problème la ñoom ñëpp sonoon boy xam nañ leen ñëpp sonoon xam nañ leen xoolal ñooñu léegi ba ñooñu sax bu ga ñoo yab di ñu wax lu ñu ne te ñooñu bu ñoo nekk mais come on bu nekkaangu si goxameen bi xamoon nañ leen waaye xamoon ñu ñëpp xamoon nañ leen Gambie dafa ndaw ñu ñëpp xamante nañ waaw waaye ñooñu bu toogee goxameen men tey gis nga ñi lu ñoo dundee ak lu ñoo defee te bugg a ñoo yab di ñu wax lu ñu ne ñooñu waaye xamoon Gambie ni ñoo nangu loolu you know Ibulay
waaw
nga ne naka
an kay dama gis ne yaa ngi dugg si live bi di wax ma ne suma waaji moom si lan la nekkaati nii politique bi la nii
xam nga Yankuba
waaw non gis naa loolu man I fully support that
jeex na
man gis naa loolu noonu on Twitter te I was like yeah that's it because that's how politics should be tamit yaa ngi isi back development to your own people so I don't mind that man tam I don't mind that I found that loolu was a good strategy from his point man I like that
yeah because of man
Gambia today loolu mooy Gambia tey
waaw man duma ko gisee déglu ma de man xam nga naka la ko gisee
waaw
yow you name me one politician in this world ku dul génn si mu ne soo la ñu saadi lay karta dinañ def A B C and D ndax loolu amut ñun even England fii suñu politicien du ñu génne soo la ñu saadi lay karta nañ def li
gis nga politique sax mooy loolu su la nit yi fale dang leen you have to give back something to them te yang suñu moo def nii man I fully support that boy that's the only way popular opposition may di mun a amee vote because it's a opposition wrong capsule nit yaa ngi fay seen tax so why not when I see that I was like yeah this is it
exactly
yow loolu nga discuss ni I fully support that
no because dama ko post ma Facebook bi am ñu bari dañ ma call si ron ñi bi na ma you know naka la ko ñi WhatsApp ma ñi xam nga ñu wane ne yeah lii loolu inducement la yaa ngi war ta wax loolu lu tax ma ne léegi ban politicien moo nekk si àdduna even ñoom seen favorite politicians yi ndax duñ dee génn to sell their agendas to sell their policies wane ne soo leen di sànni leen carte nañ def A B and C ndax loolu amul nañ ma demal ban politicien moo du génn si wax loolu
boy ni du loo sax pour sori président Barrow mu ngi nii bu mu demee si toob yëpp lu mu nekk di wax
exactly
nekk di wax so le ma helpé ngeen di elect ma dinaa leen isil développement
exactly
so yow and kooku léegi moo toog nekk ñun suñ président di use taxpayers money di def that useless store yow nga ne yanks lu moo def du waru ko def te mu ngi delloo back to the community tax bu ñoo fay
exactly
boy yanks yanku wa dawa boy yan na ko fa yaara bay ba si kanama kanam because man I like his strategy I like how he works yeah man I love how he's doing things so boy
lena de xam naa ko bu leena xam naa ko si moom man nag his way of politics am na yoo xam ne ànduma si
waaw
man bu dee génnee Facebook di binda every other day like guma ko because dama foog na ne war naa jombale boppam loolu
waaw waaye ak lu moo binda tamit
waaw waaye maa ngi ñëw mais ma rek man dama foog na war naa jombale boppam number one number two nu moo nekk di attaqué Tim Talib ak yeneen man dama foog na war naa jombale boppam foofu tamit loolu raytu
dëgg la
waaw man foog naa ne suñ ko yekkee yeneen si yeneen sa dafa war di igno mu focus si liggéeyam
yëpp dëgg la
yang si leader la léegi ba pare dama foog nag ne moom lu war di def rek o defante mooy achievement sami la war di post di wone
waaw loolu tam dëgg la
because loolu moo ko indil popularité moo ko indil moo respect
waaw loolu tam dëgg la
waaye da ngaa gis ne defante bu moo def nii ak yu moo binda ak yu moo attaque lii dafa tax ba nga xam ne ñu bari ñu ngi ko start di ko dislike o di wax yu bari si moom loo xam ne tey loolu daf koo sonal
waaye dañ warut a bañante sax because ku nekk si li nga nekk man nu ma ko gisee mooy comme ni nga nekk di wax la de because ñi ñëpp dañ bëgg a Gambia mu dem kanam Gambia mu baax ñëpp loolu lañ bëgg a tey si fekkoon ne maga fa nekk di same si fekkee ne keneen na fa nekk di same waaye waruñoo ŋaañante comme léegi-léegi nu ko gars yi di defee comme loo nekk di wax ni on a sanga
Yeah, exactly.
focus on your work the time election jot because election jotagul right now
Perfect.
election jotagul because election jotagul
su ma dégloo like I said this is it.
yeah no honestly
Facebook bu bari bi na ko bàyyi na bàyyi defante bi na bàyyi yooyu noonu yëpp mu focus si liggéeyam su demee sample marché bu ees mun na ko post ne this is the new market biir ka ama area council we build here and there waaw waaye su loolu weesoo yeneen yëpp daf ko war a jombale boppam man nii laa ko gisee waaw anyway baax na man Ibulaay drop na man suma boo damaa ñëw dem si dama duggoon rek pour am conversation bu gaaw bi wante Young's 5 million am bu wax ni gisuma si anything loo xam ne dafa wrong gisuma si ne dañ ko bëgg a téye rek ten ko pin ko fa naa ay inducement la when ñoom seen favorite party leaders yi throughout the world they do the same thing they say the same thing you know so you know loolu amu fen politicians yi nag this is how they're gonna sell their platforms this is how they're gonna sell their agenda waaw man noonu laa ko gisee you know so Ibulaay maa la accès ba da nga drop woon xaw ma lu tax benn tey nag Ibulaay accept naa la de xaw ma nag lu tax ñëwuloo benn tey nii boy lu xew boy yow daal affaire baa ngi nar a yàgga de ak li fi naat ma cancel naa ko léegi li fi naat aadaat ma seet waaw aadaat ma seet balaa ma fay génn dem ok waaw léegi mu ngi àdde waaye dafa xala slow xaw ma lu xew ndax sa internet bi la xaw ma
ngay connect waaw it's possible
waaw ñëw na
it's possible yeah li nga nekk di wax moom dëgg la boy soo xoolee tontuwante bi dafa bëgg a waste time nit yi sax léegi kenn amul jot léegi right now pour liggéey ñëpp a ngi politique boy ñëpp a ngi politique boy te nekkuñ si time politique boy ñun fu mu nekk nii dëkk boobu noonu boy liggéey bu nekk si dëkk boobu boy dafa bari waaye ñëpp a ngi concentrate on the wrong things right now waaw moo tax li la tax last time bu ñu waxtaan maa la ko wax gis nga toob yi nii fekk génnee wuñ ko fi this nonsense with the people store nii rek la moo demee dafa génne di wax su génnee di wax opposition bi tam dañoo war a dañ dee feel the entitlement ne dañ war a tontu kii nu moo waxee
waaw because of course ñoom tamit foo ñu counter ko di ñoom tamit foo ñu jéem a wax dëgg xam nga yeneen soo si loolu la ñëw dëkka wante the other thing tam lu ma foog na ne loolu lañ war a def as you genuinely said now mi di farmers store si boppam lañ war a stop
wow 100%.
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Then what stop.
No,
3 years we
gotta
spend
completely.
$170-something million. So $170 million muna sampa. Benen lobita school. O defar ay yoon yo xamne yoy xaliss dem nepp ci ngelaw.
Boy nga empower youth si. Aji ke ba xam nga ñaata youth ñoo nekk yow li nga xam fofu sax man xamako waaye xam nga ñaata youth ñoo nekk fi farming agriculture side boobu nga xam ne they need help xanaa yow loolu sax soo ekati woon ku nekk sax nga jox leen ku nekk benn 20 wala 30,000 sax wala 50-100,000 ne leen léegi comme ñu nekk si poultry bi nga ne leen léegi sax ñun bala ñoo order 100% eggs di jógee si biti yéen sas ñooñu as a groupe nga sas leen ne produce leen 10% ñu jox leen di market in Gambia
Ibulaay déglu ma de 172 by 2 loolu dafa nekk ñaata dafa nekk 344 right
it's a lot of money
so ene suma math bi baax na
it is a lot of money
172 by 2 dafa nekk déglu ma de dafa nekk 344 right now yo every individual every youth boo xam ne jonga ko $500,000 for a business startup that means your 344 youth nga dimbele su lay ne $500,000 in na $500,000 for a business startup. That means you have given 344. Now imagine if you are giving $250,000 to any youth for a business startup. That means legi yo double that amount. It's like 700 probably 88.
Why xam nga sax xam nga comme yow li nga wax ni
no 688 nit nga jox $250,000 léegi the following year nga roll out again the following year yow balaa ñoo ne 5 years yow ñaata xaleel nga dimbale for a business startup boo xam ne tey ñooñu dañoo dimbale seen boppa
with commitment sax nga commit leen ñoom ñu
no
nekk si agree
commitment ma rek waxuma léegi sax de I am not talking about I'm just saying about xaalis boole naa jox for a startup obviously you know luwa nañu nañ defar A B and C xam nga loo min nak nga ko demee dina ñëw di la support ba pare dinañ la monitor ak yooyu noonu yëpp loolu yëpp dina am but my point is loolu rek soo ko def within 5 years you have helped more than 1,000 to 2,000 youths yoo xam ne tey start-up businesses te ñooñu seen start-up business tam dañoo employ su ne ñaar ñetti nit la ñoo employ sax or 5 nit sax calculate 2,000 by 5 tamit
exactly
loolu du 10,000 nit fu mu ne nii ñoom nga create
exactly
so ñii du dee xalaat waaye nga jël xaalis boobu noonu rek 170 million nga dem nga tasaare ko si ngelaw si rek just simply because of lan pour sànni carte pour ñu sànni la carte vote
because they don't have plan Alaaji Keba loolu mooy problème bi gis nga assez comme yow tey nga ne politicien nga man soo ñëwoon nga nok suma bunta bi ne ma lii ak lii laa bëgga dama bëgga sa carte dama bëgga sa lii dama laa ne la lan mooy sa plan tey tegal ñu plan boo xam ne yow da ngaa dimbale dëkk bi dimbale nit yi ñu am liggéey because government government doesn't create jobs private sector bi ñoo dee create jobs so help private sector bi nga make because you cannot fill every hole let's be honest you cannot fill every hole waaye di nga am legislation yoo xam ne nii ne ak ideas yoo xam ne nii ne so ko if you bring it into play nit yi go by that rule you will do a lot of good things to that country comme tey in the case of Gambia
xam nga lu si gën a garaaw sax loo wax na ñi they don't have the capacity they don't have the knowledge
ndax dañ dee teyteelu
no maa ngi
people in that government
maa ngi ñëw yes amuñ ko some of them dañ dee teyteelu some of them dañ focus rek to enrich themselves ñu ngi tukki rek pour padiams they don't care about the country ñoom si ñoom nañ capitalize ñu méga ngum seen xaalis balaa ñoo génn a government so they don't even care about the people ba élection si moo jot si gars yi génn fenal nit ñi xam nga sànni xaalis here and there ndax nit ñi ñu sànni leen carte
waaw am nga politically tamit Gambia as a country is not a mature country in terms of politics because ñun we reward comme yow li nga nekk di wax Gambian voters they reward those things tey ñu ngi xam ne yaa ngi sàcc liggéeyu loo defuloo fa dara ëllëg nga ñëw ñu vote laat la why
yes why
people should start paying for their crimes bro
waaye loolu yëpp is deeper than that lu ko waral moo nekk rek ne nit ñi eewute moo
exactly foofu laay waxee
ñu bari eewuñ te ñàkk eew bi lu ko waral mooy suñ politicians yi because of lu xew mooy dañoo bëgg nit ñi tollu fuñ tollu ñàkk eew bi ñu leen a lëndëmal di leen baamal te loolu moo war a jeex si dëkk boobu nit ñi day war a eewu day war a ee nit ñi
moo tax nag people like yow mu bëgg a get into politics so la yàlla dimbaloon ba nga dugal si foofu noonu si parlement boobu number 1 foofu la affaire yëpp doon doore gis nga man suma fa dugg man my communication in that parliament would have been strictly local languages because voters yi dama la wan exemple xam nga lu tax ma wala loolu because voters they need to know what are people discussing in that parliament towards their livelihoods, towards ñoom sen because boy every vote should count. Waruma la sanil katarek for the sake of ne Alaaji Keba si koñ bi la dikoon papa ma nekkoon lii yaay ma nekkoon lii pour lan su ma gisee ne Alaaji Keba mënul liggéey bi o dafa dem toogal fa boppam yow at wala every 4 years nga ñëw di xool sa dëkk bi lu fa nekk di dox mënuloo leen a isil benn water well sax mënuloo ko fa bil yow ban njëriñ nga am pour ñu la votal why should we keep you? So there should be consequences in these jobs. You know, even government. If you not follow the minister for 2 years, but they should kick you out. This is the private chat. Every time from one place, if I do a politician, the way best boy yala didn't take a bobunum. Come lumala de wala underground. Tay you see fee you kawa. Boy, prison la don't jika bill with a spool. You have to lock people up in that country. Yeah. Because people are taking the piss, AK. Yeah. Sorry for the language. Because they don't have this niti leka swing halis bi diko pasare be pare di la si jay na hari deret ak ñaka yar. But for what? Taxpayers money.
Yep.
Taxpayers money, bro. Yo nga neka di def lu la ne.
Yep.
Pepper yo after I don't. You will be defended. Di nga dem court, you defend sa bopa. Sula loi be fine one thing, but you pay for that. If not, you go serve time in jail.
Ibulai, come on, Helena. Man, suma boke si any party, political party, lila nika push. Teluma nika push hama moelan. From 2017, coming to 2026, every government employee, right? Yo, yama war approval. Yo, is your responsibility to tell me how you got this house, to tell me how you got this car with evidence. It's not the government's responsibility. Put them diligent yo noko ame. Every individual, be it in the Gambia, in Senegal, in Dubai, internationally, be it a minister, permanent secretary, a kumuna don politician. Yo, ya wara proof. Nanga ame moto bi, nanga ame land bi, nanga ame kër bi. Evidence bobu soko tegu man dama nangu ndeyam. Comme Europe lu fi de lu de xew fu nekk ci in every deka bu buga dem kanam. Yo, it's your responsibility. Na liggéey government. Wax ma nanga ame li. Soko proof ma jël ndeyam because na xamé corruption rek mo la ko mëna jox.
No, to be honest, anybody in government, no wala.
Même rek ma jékali té lu ma rek. Government tay képp ku fa liggéey. Salaire yu ñu la musa fay yépp. Juróomi at yoo fa liggéey o fukki at yépp. Récolte ñu fa. Xam ne ñaata la fay. Total bu ñu la fay xam nañ ko. Tukki yoo def yépp padiem yu ñu la fay xam nañ ko.
Dëgg la.
Right? Bénéfice yoo am yépp xam nañ ko. If they total it, xam ne yow ñaata xaalis lañ la fay. Te yaa ngi see dunda. Yaa ngi see solu. Yaa ngi amoon njaboot yooyu toppatoo. So léegi yow or na la penne luñ la fay yépp soo ko time say sax by 5 mun laa sampal kër 10 million 15 million bi right so yow léegi na nga amee loolu noo ko mun a amee mooy corruption la kickback yow nga dem sign agreement ak businessmen yoo xam ne ñooñu la moo bénéfice dan dëkk bi yooyu yëpp danga ko def sa coobari boppa léegi man sa kër yee sa moto yee loo mun a am internationally dama ko nangu ba yow nga ñëw evidence won ma foo amee xaalis bi nanga ko amee you prove it ma soxla ko mun a jox we have to be serious.
No, you have to be ruthless, mom, to be honest.
Gambia, you have to be serious.
Yeah, you have to.
Lii mooy continuer corruption.
Because xam nga la nit yi dañ jaroo seen sago. Because they seen that bena affaire bobu mo fa nekk di dem ba pare people are getting away with it.
Yep.
But yo xam nga ne life la wax ni de life, forget about politics or anything. There should be consequences for everything a human being does.
Lu wrong, yep.
Waaye dëkk boobu rek moo dee nekk dëkk boo xam ne ni ne because xam nga ne dara du si génn moo tax lu la nee nga de look at Barrow amul benn xelaat Barrow di dee xelaat sa naka la moo yóbboo Gambia kanam Barrow amul benn Barrow anytime you see that guy he's joking he's chilling ak ñun si problème buñ nekk. But sometimes when I looked at that man dama dee wane ñun ñoo unlucky. Billahi ñun dañ over unlucky because ñun period bii la Gambia waroon a kick on a period just after bu Yaya Jammeh exited. Yaya Jammeh was doing well. Yeah, I know people might find it difficult to understand that, but he was doing well in terms of but development bu bari Yaya Jammeh moo ko fa isi de te yëpp mu ngi continuer from Jawara.
Yeah, but then Ibulai, you see benn affaire la nawee Yaya Jammeh dégg la people consider Yaya Jammeh I mean mun nañu hypocrite la woon because of dafa aaye nit ñi ABC and B ba pare moomu ñoo defal ko boppam right but my point is Yaya Jammeh bu mu fi jógee Yaya Jammeh benn kër rek la mooy poto maag bu mu gën a Amérique te loolu sax nangu nañ ko waaye Yaya Jammeh yu mu amoon yëpp biir Gambie la koo bàyyi def ko fa te daf ko risaagoon foofu noonu moomale ko boppam oo bàyyi ko fa Ibulaay ñi buñ toogee benn tey suñu laan yëpp dem na te Ibulaay laan yi dama laa ne foreigner yu am Gambie ay laan keroog laa doon waxtaan ak kenn xaw ma Botswana la xaw ma fan mu ne am na benn dëkk Afrique la mu ne ñooñu they don't sell lands to foreigners you know they lease it to them 25-year lease they don't sell land to foreigners you know te Gambia as long as policy bi mu ngi on ñu jël suñu land yëpp di ko jaay foreigner yi ñu ngeen ñëw in the name of international naka lañ ko def investor yëpp fen la there is no serious international investors coming to this country You know, suñ la yépp ñu ko joxé. Lolu nonu yépp wara deñ. Ñu suñ ma sax ñeneen doomi Gambian yu bari mënu ñu am dara. Simply because of policy bini. It has to change. Every new government who's serious, you have to put Gambia first. Yeah, Gambia first. Nangun day affaire bi yépp to majority of foreigners so gis ñépp seen land dañ ko wara nangu wat boy jël ko seen loxo. We have seen Zimbabwe def nako, we have seen South Africa, we have seen so many dëkk yo xamné tay ñu ngay delu wat ci lolu. Doomi dëkk bi ñoo mom seen alel. Foreigner momu ko. So bring policies yo xamné tay doomi dëkk bi ñoy benefit. You know, doomi dëkk bi ñoy benefit. Huh?
Boy, Bala, I'm incoming call. Koko tabi mu ngi insist.
Well, sorry.
Yeah. So coming back to come luñ doon discuss la rek because yo from lu ma la buroon wax mooy from after 2026 after 2016 election boobu noonu. Gambia was ready basically. Come in terms of why the Western world be embrace that change because Jammeh ñëpp xamoon nañ how things were going with him with the Western world. He was having backing in a different country, come like China, sometimes Taiwan and all that. While when they came in, everything was open. Fofla Gambia were on a kick on it. Look at the OIC, for example. Yep. Senegal development be happen Senegal recently ni be maki ka keep on lulu be after apply water. Most of them came through their hosting of the OIC. Sila send you on Why look at the issues we are having with those roads.
Let me tell you something. Gis nga apply water bu toge es.
Buguma ñu devaluate sa dem ci Senegal faté ñun suñ own issue.
Waaw ma ngi ñëw rek dama la wor rek strategy bu ñu use. Abdoulaye Wade is the first person Senegalese president bu sani français fele mu dem ci Chinese bu sani français fele mu dem ci arabe OIC bi bu ñëwé Abdoulaye Wade lu mu jëk def mo nekk daf ko def doomi Sénégalais yépp bénéfice ci business ak yoyu you don't see mais ma gis lo ben Sénégalais ben Abdoulaye Wade government am ñu jël foreigner jox leen ay businesses comme ñu ci OIC bi they took suñ business si opa do lepp jëm jox ko ay doomi Sénégal ay foreigner ay keneen ak keneen na gis na Sénégalais di jox Gambian
boy yo man I will differ xam nga lu tax ma wala lolu moy si fekkee ne tey yow mun nga ko if the bidding process was fair and then everybody was vetted equally then you jox ko xam ne ni he tipped it a bit. I don't mind that. Why the problem I have is why he don't. But look at, for example, look at what happened with the whole stadium refurbishment nonsense bini. But you see commission some of them are just creating bogus companies. You enjoy thousands of dollars, millions of dollars. Maybe that's for them fed.
Well, why look at that blame?
Good morning, na corruption la won I don't know na yow ya ñew ma jox la ko nga jox ko sa frère su ko defé ñu nekk fofu di gisante goudé ay goudé lañu tassé di wax lu ñoo wara wax
wow wale kan nga blame
the whole government and that ministry itself
légui
because yow betay job bobu munta am koku baaji bobu nonu should be sacked because yow ñata at Gambia ngeen mënu ñoo play fofu nga na spend nga millions of dollars pour stadium bobu ñew munta nekk up to standard bro. Come on.
Ibulay tey so yow sa kër tey so santé liggéey kat liggéey mu ne leen sa liggéey bi day dina ko def within 1 month mu pare mu charge la xaalis ne la £1,000 nga jox ko £1,000 yow kooku dem na ñëw na liggéey bi parewut deadline bi passé na liggéey bi parewut léegi mu ne dafa soxla another £500 or another £1,000. Yo, what would you do?
I won't give you anything, bro.
What would you do?
You have to refund me my money. I might as well go and get somebody to finish the job, but that's it, contract be already break because what we signed was never delivered.
Perfect. You see, every serious person, this is how you operate. A government should be treated as Sa'alel, Yakomo. But President Barrow's government do they deflulu. You hire someone, nga joko contract lu many stadium. You jël suñu xaalis suñu taxpayers money to refurbish that stadium. In fact, xaalis bi sax ñu inflate ko. ñëpp xam nañ ne égutoon si loolu but they inflate it. Fine, fair enough. The money is given. Cash suñ dee ñëw. suñ la baane sa stadium. fii kenn dofu fi dañ la dee bindal recommendations and everything. su ñëwee ba def seen inspection si ba pare. They write everything. Nee na da nga war a change A, B, C, D, and E to this standard. Now, yow sa first attempt sax da nga war a pass standard so noonu parce que it has already been given to you. But you failed the first attempt. Which in any serious government, consequences dafa war a am.
100%. 100%.
Yow nga fail am boobu sax. They gave you another chance. In fact, they increased the money again. You went and failed again. They came back. You went and failed again. They came back. Like 4 times, you failed.
I know. I know.
So Gambia is a joke.
No, it is beyond a joke. No, it is beyond that. It is. I'm not.
No, 4 or 5 times, you failed. Now, do you know how much it cost us? Senyaka them Afcon. Do you know how much it cost us? Senyaka them World Cup. Do you know every game we win Afcon? Yata Harris then with a job.
Boy.
Do you know? Can they be sent Bopa? She don't play stadium B. Today we would have qualified. There are so many games you have today. They go through outside. We would have won it. There are so many games today. We lost it. We would have won it.
Africa ni playing home with advantage. If in referee decision, sister, no they muna go your way when you playing home, sir. Why you against with games? After you win qualify that our first appearance at the Afcon. And I no memento bring amon. You never know. You could have even been in the World Cup. Look at the seedings in the World Cup. Why they never looked at the bigger picture? Listen, you am memento bohame musun ko am in terms of football. You give them Afcon back to back. Boy, football you were not harassing tanki to be in. Listen, boys this last week. You know Senegal we are here in London, right?
Yep.
But this is for Senegal. I looked at the Senegalese team. I was so proud to be like, basically, let me just stop at that. I was very proud of the organization. But they put them in one of the hotels in central London. Boy, team boss bag you know, I'm like, you correct my head and you travel, sir. Boy, I get swing players, see bitty. Boy, sometimes you felt sorry for these people, boy. These are professional players, not even playing for Man United, Chelsea, or Liverpool or Arsenal, whereby you'll expect a high standard of being taken care of in terms of traveling, feeding, and all that. Why? I looked at the Senegalese team and these people and football. If you don't invest, you're not seeing anything. Look at Senegal right now.
What these people don't understand more. The more that they can play internationally, perform, the more scouts the more they will buy players, the more the economy the more your sports will develop, the more players will play abroad. Right? So there will be time interested. They will build mini stadiums, they will develop the youths, they will do all sorts of things. Benefit.
Yep.
But these people, they are
very comfortable. They are very comfortable. They are very, very comfortable.
Bill Angleterre, stadium be face.
You
know how much money they generated. You know how many hundreds of millions of people know Satan game online. You know this place send popularity. The name Senegal is sell. How much from Egasi Aduna? Do you know how many businessmen, how many scouts, how many football team owners you took Senegal from many the UT players try to invest in Senegal?
Right.
Even a stadium be pour renovate ko. We are not even talking about building a new stadium like Senegal. But even to renovate this stadium, you will fail. Then fail.
Even to have a good...
No.
So these are the people, Manila, they just know what's
President Baro talk. boy, this guy is like he's sleeping, boy.
But he is. He's very comfortable in that seat. When you came on, they will just find him sitting down and they will tell him, "Can you honor them see guarding me?" And he will follow them. They will tie him up and put him in a car because he's that lack of for me. He's very lack of awareness of what's really going on. I might be disrespectful, and he's a leader, but man, sometimes I look at him, I'm thinking, wow, boy, yun. What have we? What are they? What about the yan? Na dem rek kum ñu isil baax na loolu ñu dugal si problème bi kum ñu isil baax.
You see, dañu
wara ñaan ku gën si ñun.
You see, the problem we have with President Barrow is not he is
he's an accidental president. Maybe he was not prepared for this.
No, let me just come. I'm trying to see the good words I'm gonna use. The president is not ambitious enough, right, to develop the country. He is not hungry for development. The president is not strong enough to run that country. He is not stubborn enough to run that country. If you run in Gambia, you need to be stubborn enough.
But you have to be a dictator in a different way. Let's just take the name there.
Man,
no, you have to be strong enough. You have to be.
Number one, you have to be a no-nonsense person. Number two, you have to, you see, fonga neka president bo hamne nga bari character. Fonga neka ko hamne tay yow da nga jup. Yow fonga dohalin bo hamne tay ken du la nek hypocrite la parce que mu ko def te man defuma ko. Right? So fonga neka ko hamne jup nga xam nga lo buga. President bi mom na leka na nan na teda fu neex mu nelaw solu ne dem ñu joko platform wo wajure mom for him that's enough. You know, deka lolu du ko yobu.
No, deka lolu yobu ko.
Deka da nga serious people you yobu deka.
To be honest.
You know, deka deka melni president Barrow du ko muna yobu. Deka focus serious.
Yeah, you have to be that.
You know, lolu mo yobu deka. So
yeah, we need people like you who are very vocal to get in there and then start hitting. But like I always said, yeah, not grassroots politics being man. Like I like what how Talib has started his political career. But I've always admired that. Nga dem si nga liggéey man pour man loolu lañ nii lañ war a di tànnee suñu leader si nga liggéey dara si municipality wala si dara nit yi gis ne yow you are capable of doing something. Why I have nothing against Essa. Mota man suniti de wa Essa ni ba de wa ne nah, because Essa just TRRCB give him the platform. He thought he's popular. Mu jump into politics. Why Essa bisa he cannot help Gambia. This
no, anyway, man, as I always said, I want Essa to be the justice minister.
Why?
Gis nga Essa su nekkee justice minister.
Why?
Essa su nekkee justice minister na change luwaay bari na indi luwaay yoo xam ne tey daf ñoo dimbale Ibulaay.
You don't feel for understand the Gambia got very, very good laws, but they just don't follow it.
No. I'm not luwaay bari yoo xam ne yaa jame moo ko fa def luwaay bona la Ibulaay. It has to change.
Moylan, okay, how do you know what's the 1997 constitution being a
you do a law number one, yo ya wara proof sa bopa, yo ya wara wonene ale bi ni la ko amé. Yo evidence bo ya ko wara joxe.
Dang ma buga wax façon settings bobu nonu amul Gambia. Yo dang ma buga wax ne façon settings bobu nonu. Dang ma buga wax ne façon settings bobu amul Gambia.
No, amu fa.
Ah, okay.
Number one, number two, hola Gambia.
Because it's all political appointees. Lolu deka bu am rek problem mo de am. You delu si what back to that National Assembly. Why is a president being allowed to nominate 5 people?
Am nga lolu dañ ko def in good faith. Because then gis ne disabled they were am representatives.
But they don't. Amuñ ko tamit.
Motax monel dañ ko def in good faith. Then gis ne disabled dañ wara am good representation in parliament. Be pare dañ wara am tam yena minorities. Hedna Christiani or hedna UTF or hedna lenen. They were representative in parliament. Lulu was the idea, and it was a brilliant idea. But when these politicians came, you redirect everything you have. You study in it saying only your hand. I yes,
Wow, okay. Yo, some when Lolo was done in good faith. Why didn't people follow it through? You challenge go into courts. Neni ne tay alaji ke wa ko fa isi. He's just
the farmers was done in good faith. Because idea bi moy wonne ñu gëna mit pharmacy nga xamne ñom dinañ xam ñi seen problème si they can hear themselves like president bi nako mëna déggal bopam dina mëna xam ñi what they go through. That was the good faith. But politicians ñoko yaha ñom ñew nak with seen nonsense yépp ñu def ko ay campaign tool di jël suñu xaalis di ko fa spend di ko yaha. So mo tax loolu yépp dafa wara change légui dafa wara change because of defati ko ci lu baax.
No, they go around Lolu mom. This is just to give the president a chance of going back to the public or to the population. Yeah, next election mafi neka sanin lemma. No lack of because so duma wafen man I stopped watching Barrow, I stopped listening to him. And I'm a tombe that I'm a set on tutti. Why should pass Lolu mom man I stopped listening to him? Why you might just a digger for Anthony? I nan yo doma jerem je kabalanga la cewa yo who are you yo halis bi yo daf di sa halis nga liggéey de kam
I know
yo du sa halis nga liggéey de kam
I know
yeah is the people's right pour ñu question yo lo ñu wara defal because so ñu ko defal lu ñu génné la fa lolo fi wara am ñu bay di way suñ fe génnu ci politique yi sabar bi ni toga benachin bi ni ak problem rek la ñoo ici.
I know. So, because, like you said, man, what I'm saying here is, if we appeal to the youth more and political parties, when senior elect, then elect your hand, pour senior in parliament, or senior hold this elected offices, then don't your hand, hamne liñoo def jàng nañ xam nga jongone xam nañ daal lu ñoo def xam nga yaa gis ma waxee parce que ñooñu ñoo mën a yóbbu dëkk kanam right waaye xoolal si National Assembly bi right président bi lu mu indi dañ ko approve finance minister bi lu mu indi dañ ko approve ibi suppone si dëkk bi
because
majority of them they don't even know
are they having difficulties in processing the information
that's what I'm saying majority of them amuñ capacity bi you know information si mënuñ ko process they don't even understand so si ñoom because of Barrow moo leen fa indi rek right opposition bi moo leen tànn indi leen fa rek luñ ne yes rek lañ fa nekkee yes even if it's very detrimental to the public
mooy li ñoo wax rek this blind loyalty
exactly so political parties in that
political parties comme nga nekk di wala nag yaa ngi fi ne su comme masses that I had sympathy for him that Modou Sabally buñ ko bané ne bum amati bum hold any office with how young he was. I was mad about that decision because defuton Gambia dara lo xamne war nañ ko ban for life du ligéyat but when I see him following this Adama Barrow ak num dé waxé du ma dé wax né ni I ma change my mind or anything the way dafa la leer né la ni maybe he looked at it, he was suffering, maybe the only option he had was to join up.
No, of course. But Sabally demonstrate Barrow.
Talking shit.
Yeah, no, Sabally demonstrate Barrow. It's not like ne. That's them fufu by choice. I mean, of course, Ban bilang buona reflect they promise him that. Matter of fact, lulu mota mudem. But Sabali's hard. Like I mean, I wrote it. Sabally hola be UDP more for neka. You know, Sabally dafa them see Barrow ni rek. But come on, man. Sabally hola be UDP more si neka, man. You know, more for neka boy. Because obviously, boy, Wait, Ibulai, Barrow you find a interest base la. Barrow, you find a deal la, I interest la, I did like they are not there for the Gambia. You find a interest base la boy.
It's a problem.
Kufaneka for hami dega. Yo danga buga dika bi mudem kanam yange ligay. Hamga put dika dem kanam nekulo for push up post. Wait, don't go contact. It's not more than 1% NPP boy. You find yep. A government interest base la. Just pour bill sen bopal rek you know
I know
so what the NPP tay
cross capet bi mom doratina fum nekani ñepa nge dem ben side
deguma nga ne
mané fum nekani cross capet bi doratina ñepa nge move around
yeah
na fo wara dem yo fo wara dem yow
ibulay man imagine how ma ñaari na mo de ko
waaw moo tax ma la laaj loolu nii léegi ñu ngi ko def nii si banta ba
ma ne kay joñ te ba xam nga ñoom nan lañ ma dee wax xam nga lu ma dee wax boy so buggee convince nit sa mu join la sa yéena waxi doo ko wax sax waa kay join ñu xam nga rek ñu ñoo am njëriñ
ñoo xaalis
sa soxla fii la moo fajoo
dégg loolu
waaw you know, I why no sense why.
Because tamit dafay easy noonu la gars yi dee amee nit yi waaye su am nañ nit yoo xam ne ni ne fu ñu leen fekk fu leen yooyu fekka foofu la leen di bàyyi because yow loo mënta amal sa boppa lan la naka nit yi mënta amalul boppa loo xam ne la
on baro la ma jox te mënuma ko amal su boppa la xam
mooy lu ma wax ni yow ak pour wax la dëgg sax tamit yow léegi nii lan
man mooy baro balaa moo nekk président tey man lu ma am tey kootaam sa baro amu ko woon balaa moo nekk président soo lu tax man léegi lan ma baro mun ta jox man lu ma mun dal tuwa boppa
alhamdulillah
so mu ta mu jaaxal
ana mu jox la VIP treatment bi ngay duga state house di génn ngay duga state house di génn time bu la ne
loolu ba njëriñ la ma
yooyu moo dee tiital gars yi tamit maa jegeñ président bi yow yii nii moo tiital nii
ma jaaxal ni man tey
président
fu nekk dama ko dee tuggi si àdduna te fu ma dem yow
alhamdulillah
si 5-star hotel lay tëddi
yàgg na du ngeen dal hotel bu yomba
waaw bay
muy duga foofu non muy duga foofu balaa candi ñëw muy duga si détail yooyu noonu nañ bàyyi noonu rek waaye alhamdulilah daal si gàttal
bàyyi boobu parce que balaa maa yow wax loo si Sweden bi bàyyi noonu
no, Sweden was nice. Well, anyway, coming back to this whole topic of the way things are going in Gambia. Obviously, you Gambia we get improvement. You there see all these African countries. You can try to move on. You can try to development to their people. You can try to at least develop hamne citizens in Nancy Munagi and Bopa boy. You can try to create boy Gambia in mainland Africa. For Gambia, moi the only country bo hamne munu do fa gisa. Comme like ngane am na factory bo hamne ni mun nañu employ youth si muy run 24 hours. Am na.
Xam nga Gambia
lots of things that
Gambia manufacturing lan lañu face.
Is in decline. No, for no reason. Government should have intervened.
No, même rek ma ñëw ma wax la manufacturing side industry si lan lañ nekk di face Gambia. Electricity.
It's a huge problem.
Problems, number one. Number two, is way too expensive. More than do them. Dekabu serious electricity dafa yomba. Especially these factories, manufacturers.
Communication.
To factories and manufacturers. Electricity dafa wara yomba. Ni muna produce. Right? Why you take electricity? Even ni si keri dafa sera be nga xamne. Imagine nga gis household day. Nga am sa benn ñaari cabinet salle nga spend $5,000 si cash power si weer bi.
Boy, opana lolu?
No, dama la jox rek minimum. Yow léegi factory industry ñi nang nga fogale ñi ne survive.
Wait, xam nga factory and industry. Why tamit to be fair to
development.
Why to be fair to him tamit factory ak comme institution yi nga wani you can give them a special rate because they are producing.
But they are not doing that.
We just going back in there is no planning. This is not your time.
But you see,
def minister of sports or minister of anything. Obviously, what nga duga for we take. What nga talk sa kër nga ne wow, okay, man legi. Nakala muna improve a ministry of agriculture, for example. Nakala muna joxe pharmacy.
Ibula harma jola ben example. Tay let's joxe minister of sports, for instance, ma jola example. Or you jola minister of agriculture. First of all, you lo wara ñika def moy. Nga ñëw toog seet département yu nekk yëpp yu nekk under minister of sports yëpp xam nga ñëw check ñoom yëpp seen problems lan la ba pare you come up with blueprint boo xam ne danga ko defar nga di for next 5 years minister of sports fii laa bëgg ñu toll dama bëgg a tey gymnastic ñu dem world gymnastic competition dama bëgg a football next 5 years next World Cup suma guy ñu qualify dama buga basketball ñu bokk ci Africa basketball team si right dama buga lii mu xew lii now nga am sa doolu yëpp ba pare nga seet yan façon investments nga def su la jaralee sax nga indi international trainers fee leen xaalis nga start di train ñooyu nga bila leen complexes yoo xam ne tey dafa nekk standards su dul world class sax mu nekk standard right jox leen facilities yoo xam ne so léegi yow teg nga sa boppa si route boo xam ne in the next 5 years by force nga achieve because start nga from foo xam ne foofu nga war a dooree so da nga gis ne yow sa target da nga koo mit because of your start nga foo war a dooree right but problème bu ñu am ak ñu suñu ministre seen ministre yi dañoo ñëw rek fekk fa liggéey boo xam ne rek nii la rek continuer ne nonsense boobu noonu there's nothing new Gambia bu ñu waxee dañ bugg a dem naka food naka self sufficient ben tey mënuñ ko def because of past minister yep they follow the same route the same way.
Boy, they are not even working. Yo, hold on.
They are not innovative.
Useless minister
they are
of,
not innovative.
Minister of.
Adunabi is moving. Right?
Yo, hold on. That, yo, minister
they don't have new ideas. They don't do anything other than follow ideas of a so more than you stagnant or you deluge now because of all the move, you make the move, the same ideas, the same ways like maintain bente.
You stagnant, to be honest.
Yeah. So now so this is the problems we have.
You cannot fill every hole. Why I'm not yena legislation you have munga kofa isi. Boy, people will start performing, boy. Boy, everybody get rewarded with your performance. Not get rewarded with mediocrity. All you do is yo danganeka fufu. Yo Gambia mo di yo danganeka sidika bo hamne yo dangadem fufu sa sola darasi office sa ngadem ñu na la alaji ke dama dem ngente.
Yeah.
Dama dem what? Yo nga take office bo nga dem. So duge si office ñepa nge watat sen tankay. There is no work ethic.
Yep.
Dafa yaangi lazy.
Yep.
Sorry for the language. It's not just them. Right?
Imagine that
attitude.
Ibula yo te sa office tay. Tay foy jobe tay. Sa office yo dinga dem feka niki. Receptionist or whoever is. Take nguro nyebe ak dina mu nga ndewo nga ñew di mu war la attendre mu dem do meyangu ma tuti ma jekali suma ndewo bi. Yo dinga
no kérok di nga stop ndewo bi nak. Ya jilala. Même tuti ma jekali suma ndewo. No, no, yo kérok di nga stop ndewo bo because man lu encounter gu malo way kuma won lolu manela jogal da nga boy ligay mo la fa ici. So
Gambia nak yi nga fa de gis. Gambia li nga fa de gis. So len bu straight xam nga lu la de ñeka mo neka. Ki mo dafa bari affaire.
Why you
mun ko dafa miti ko dafa bari affaire.
Boy li yeb mun
they don't want to work.
Yeah, they don't. Lolu mom de gon. Lolu mom de gon.
Te lolu yeb so gisé mu xew is leadership.
You heard that issue mom.
Yes, it's leadership. Because of Monday, small bidding. Kuma legal day. Time we agree. That they make sure it takes in a time bob. Time more close. The fact make sure time bob la more close. Right? Dorin be lunta ko yep lolu la more def. So changes ware am ma address ko nope. Niet.
Yeah.
Leadership
yeah.
la war de me.
Yeah, you know you have to remind people right? That they are duties.
Legi nak muna mané mu call ma hema bro. Monday dama am li ak li hejna dama
wara sometimes you when you dama wara dem is normal
dama li man ko okay graw ama it's normal nga dem why some point mo nek rek ne
lolu is
because of mom respect na bofam enough be nga xamne lu d'accord mu ko def man tamit respect na ko enough be amolo mi legele suma ne li la ma bay ko mu dem why as you said dañ la employ di la fay te ku la fay lo len d'accord sur les 5,000 là 10,000 20,000 loolu la fay yow tam lo d'accord ne loolu nga deliver joko ko be mut you know why bu ko cheat
no
Gambia nak li mo fa ufa da nga gis boss yow nga nek a director of the company o nga legal government nga nek director o nga nek minister yow ñu nek sa ron yow lañu roy yow lañu set wayo tay daf la ne nga ñëw sa office ben 1 hour next minute yow gëna nga dem nga do duga ci waat be ci election yow sa liggéeykat yi nga fo ne ñoo non la ñoo behave
yow duga ci waat be 4 o'clock nga ñëw pack sa bagage yi dem nit yi sen file
so sa liggéeykat da nga fo ne ñoo di def lu
ba pare nit yi sen file yi nga nekk ci office bobu de nit to be action yow nga nekk di wor rek di waste time nit yi man
so this is the problems we have.
Yeah, it's just sometimes like
barote nga dem degul de barote nga dem the State House for instance businessman bu ñew tay hey Mr. President di la mu enu bena envelope naka o mu enu bena briefcase jox la mu nekk $100,000
So daf dee may xaalis noonu just like that.
No, waxuma Barrow mooy maire man businessman bu ñëw rek na
okay.
buga ABC kooku enu na benn $100,000 $50,000 jox ko président di sa boss la. So moom mu normalise loolu. Yow lan nga foog na ministre bu ko fekkee o staff sabi ñooñu su demee seen office yi ñu dem yeneen place su businessman ñëwee o keneen ñoo ne ko am jëlal lii kooku ndax du jël loolu because it's been normalized gis na boss am mu ko def.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So this is the problem we have.
Yeah.
You know why super businessman bi joxoon 50 mu ne ko lii pour lan la nii mu ne ko no mu ne ko no come on take your money man I'm not in for this.
Understand
staff bi fa nekka dinañ xam ne lii right tut ñoom tamit suñ demee di liggéey su nit ñëwee ne leen ne lii dinañ ne non lii suma boss su ko yëgee sax daf maa daaxa daf maa indi problème. So duñ ko def. So leadership foog nga wone ko.
Yep, I agree.
You know why else you get kii ñoo jola xaalis bi nii kii ñoo jola su yàggee kooku lu bëgg si government bi daf ko am because of kooku noonu yow kooku loo ko mun a wax da nga ko mun a wax dara.
No mënuloo ko wax dara moom.
So these are the problems we are encountering in that country. More corruption we mun a stop. We can go on and on and on. There's so many wrongs in that country, in that government.
Then the truth sa mooy comme lu ma la day wax la rek you can minimize loolu noonu yëpp. Why not mu rampant like num dee demee nii.
Gambia moom corruption moom dafa mel ni léegi moom corruption léegi virus la virus. Every department boy duga Gambia.
Because mu ngi normal because they're making it ñu ko def mu ngi normal and it looks like everybody has accepted it.
Man ñi ko accept.
Boy ñi di seen kër yi sax dañ ko dee wax because yow imagine a country like foofu noonu yow tono bi nga war a am suñ la falee def la minister wala lifin but people will start coming to people's house di la tàccu sa yaaya ko fi liggéey sa yaaya ko fi li xamoon nañ ne di nga nekkale di ñëw ay sabaraka what kind of message are people sending Alaaji Keba dem nañ ko minister rek ñoom ñëw di celebrate loolu noonu
Ibulaay déglu de su leen neexee ñu sabar guddi ba suba
waaye intention bi mooy
waaye loolu yëpp dafa des individual Ibulaay yoo xam nga bu baax a baax yoo xam nga moom seen nit la yow yaa
I'm just giving you an example.
Wow, what a man is individual
mindset of how people see things.
Individual bila.
What?
Parce que man, first of all, man sonuma. I'm not luma lek. I'm not luma nan. I'm not luma tida.
Alhamdulillah, that's it. Enough.
Alhamdulillah. Te man, damoko dunda. Hal buane ke halel be en man dara atragu ma dara munuma dara. Man, come on, man. So man, can mama impress?
Well, it's just the society we see. Like society
so
more.
Man, don't liggéey any institution tay. Dafa am pour job or else ma das and day. It's as simple as that. Dafa luy yobu institution bi kanam o nga abal ñu.
That's it. That's it. There should be.
Man dama hedo tay bokuma yo sande bokuma yo sadara dañ dajé pour liggéey so defal ñu fa yobu so ko mënu nga dem tok
yep work boy man dama de wax lol de work is work work is work there is no friends is no family when so duggé pour nga liggéey dal work should be work nañ liggéey dañ suñ paré ñu gëna ci biti ñu do suñ waxtaan
seen campagne wax lu leen né su leen togué né ki mo dafa soxor ki dafa bon ki dafa hey xam nga man la mo gëna important na man as long as maa ngi def loo xam ne suñu borom bi xam na ne man si yoon maa ngi def loo xam ne tey suma yaay kontaan na si man mu ngi lekk mu ngi naan suma jabar kontaan na si man suma doom bi mu ngi lekk mu ngi naan kontaan nañ si man right lu des yëpp maa leen dundut parce que ganaar kenn nenu ma
sole buggee dunda sa da nga soda
loolu laa la woni man maa leen dund as long as I'm on the right track I'm on the right path mais people ay lu des suma yoon daf si nekka
no
kan moo dee fay suma bil
exactly when it comes to the crunch
kan moo dee ñëw ne ma Alaaji Keba teel 100 bi ak 200 bi yokkandeku suma waree génne dafa o suma waree lekk suma waree naan kan moo yokkandekul
yaa de
kuma ko sax suma waxee suma problème ñaare next minute yo dem si mbere bi Alaaji Keba de moom fi koloon mu ne lii la soxla lee ñu su société bi so man dama faale kenn comme bu demee noonu defal lu correct rek moo jël
gars TikTok live la
defal lu correct moo ëpp solo at least yow tey ëllëg si biir soo fa génnee sax dinañ ne sa legacy dañ xam ne dëgg su ma waa ji day neexu affaire de waaye dëgg def na fi lu baax lii ak lii ak lii loolu mooy ni
I don't think that especially this government you think about that legacy boo xam ne mun nañ koo bàyyi ne ñun lii leen fi def
waaye baro dafa faale legacy baro na biiram bi fees
dama xam ne ñun problème yi ñu amoon yëpp
Ibulaay baro su bëggoon legacy indi nañ ñu constitution bu baro lu tax ñu élect ko
loolu laa bëggoon a wax sax
ñu sànni ko carte su bëggoon legacy ni ko doon dox na dox boobu ni ko doon am nañ constitution bu ees
because election reform boobu noonu créé a huge part in baro coming to power
am nañ ko
because without loolu noonu solo senden
ni ko baa ngeen ne ni ko doon corruption bu law ni du fa am waaye baro moo faalewul legacy baro lu mu faale moo nekk na prolong stay am muy lekka di naan every Saturday Sunday ñu barbecue jëna baby lami state house lakal ko mu lekka seetaan football
no wonder du mun a dox no wonder du mun a dox
ba Arsenal gi toog foofu noonu ministère su ñëwee jokko project ABC mu leen ne yéen kay yéen a xam def leen lu baax rek Baro to educate boppam Baro to janga Baro do read Baro do dugas internet Baro
yanko tonde da be read dama ko defend da be read dama ko defend read
that's it
surtout suy laka ci local languages
wow do great ki Baro so ki na moy wusi de
yanko tonde
boy bi moy dega dama ko sosal mo ko boy di moy dega di sosal mo
ko sosal kay gade muntari ko na Baro muntari ay muntari de
ibulay
fone na nga fone
ibulay legi ma laaj Baro speech yum joxe yep how many errors la fa Baro def
xam nga mun a read ak tamit read di write letters si tamit di write words si mun na nekk problème
hanga ma wo mo binda ma read la wax
waaw waaye xam nga loolu I don't think that you
so legi Baro speech yum joxe ñaara errors la fa def
boy understand ne English is not his first language tamit muta ñëw di laka English like Prince Harry boy est-ce que loolu tamit
Ibulaay déglu de man maa yow suñu neexee ñu def suñu erreur bay ëllëg
no problem
Baro is a president man maa yow duñ president man maa yow suñu neexee ñu laka sa suñu broken ak angale ci yoon nekku ci Baro is the president of the republic tey Baro su waree taxaw joxe speech bi dafa war a correct speech writer sami dañ ko war a bindal lu baax Baro dafa war a laka lu correct
How maluta Gambian pen boy bi du ko dee dimbale comme moom he thinks that he's the best writer in Gambia that Modou Sabally
boy ba mo waji nak si jaba boy Modou Sabally ba ko si jaba Modou Sabally boba bi mo reuy legi Modou Sabally mo dafa fon na ne mom since sliced bread he's the best setan ko
su nguri Baro bi su nguri Baro bi daano xam naa dina am problème de moo docteur tam wax rek la dee def ñi dañ dee war a respect institutions yu ñoo toog sax di represent ngay génn as a minister di defante yow yaa ngi war a job yow jobuloo yow yaa ngi boy no it's very easy nag in Gambia nag it is easy for them
if the head is working
it is very easy man to be honest
if the head is rotten what do we expect from the tail you see leadership dafa important fu nekk tey Mamadou Sabally su génnee mu wax lu warta wax any minister su génnee mu wax lu warta wax Baro mu adresse ko ne ko ne hey listen loo waxoo noonu bu ko fi waxati parce que right you should know better I did not hire you people li A B C and D xam nga kooku du ko defati
nope
waaye su gisee taxaw gis Baro si boppam di waxi fuyum faya
boy ñaata ministre lañ nekk online
di waxi
ñoom
tam su génnee ñu waxi nonsense
boy how long have you been online for how long
no man boy dama ñëw bàyyi si sax parce que maa ngi nar a yàgga boy man musuma yàggee nii boy yama fi teg nii
waaw an hour rek should be enough man sarama sona I need to
dama la ñëw bàyyi si boy
waaw yow bi dena yow after you catch up
all right jërëjëf all right
thank you all right bye